do's you like?
Hello. Good afternoon. How we doing? He's back. There's no escaping him. Oh, there's no escaping him. Plus, how we doing today? We good? We good? How much RIO you got now? Uh, my lawyer has advised me not to answer that question. Not as much as I'd like. Let's put it that way. I'm only 3.4. I haven't really done much M plus this season, to be honest. Like I did a bit. Like I got to all my 16s. And then I guess I lost a bit of motivation. I just kept depleting keys. And the only consistent in the key is me, right? So shit, that's not great. Um, I think if I start actually timing some more, like getting some 17s on the plate and stuff, I'll be a bit more motivated to do it. But right now, I'm just in like key hell, and I just think to myself, M plus, I'm just gonna go deplete some keys for a few hours. That sounds fucking awesome. Um, yeah, not today though. Today we're timing keys, so stay positive. Hey Molten, how we doing? So yeah, we're basically on the 17 grind at the moment. Um, I'll be honest, I didn't even realize that the 11.2.5 patch was yesterday. Like, I logged in, I didn't even realize that it was patch day. I was like, oh shit. Oh shit, we can upgrade our gear now. Like, I feel like there was no marketing for it. I don't know. I feel like usually like I'm very aware about when the patches are dropping and stuff. I literally logged in yesterday. I was like, oh shit, all my gear is now not max item level. That was fun. That was interesting. But it's really weird because they've done it where they've upgraded the gear, right? But you don't have uncapped crests, so you still can't actually upgrade all your gear, no matter what track it's on, right? Let's say Mythic, Heroic, you can't you can't max out yet. It feels like a really weird decision because it's like 2 weeks before you can actually do that. So they've increased the amount you can upgrade gear by, but you're still limited to how much you can do. I mean, I guess in some cases it stops you like holding crests or like having too many crests. I suppose like you can actually spend them, but it feels like it should be something that they released all at once. I don't know, time getting some shit like that. I don't know. I don't work at Blizzard. Are your guildies not interested in doing keys? There are some guildies that enjoy doing keys, like um there's Vibes, he's a DK, but he's on the 20s now, right? He's a little bit he's a little bit further than me. But for the most part, I think most people enjoy raiding in the guild more than doing keys. Sometimes, like, you get, like, times like last season where people just, like, actually want to do some pushing and stuff, but generally, not really. As well as that, it's comps as well, right? So, if I played a mage, right, and then some guildies wanted to push, I'd be more likely to fit into that sort of group comp. Trying to fit, like, a Windwalker monk into, like, a pushing group is like, Jesus Christ, good luck, brother. But should have picked something else. Should have played mage. It's a lot easier to fit in. So if like the tank, for instance, is playing Brewmaster, which I think our two tanks are playing at the moment, when they do M plus keys, or Brewmaster and Windwalker, you just don't really want both of them in it. So it's a little bit of that, a little bit of just not that much pushing going on at the moment. Um, I don't mind pugging though. I feel like it's my environment. I've pugged all my life. Why stop now? I do enjoy pre-made keys though. They were fun last season. Actually having that little bit of communication, some banter, having a little bit of joshing around. It's always quite enjoyable during a key. I mean, you can have fun and pug keys when you time them. Otherwise, it's just lose your mind simulator. I mean, unless you're doing physical comp, maybe. Yeah, I think physical comp's pretty popular at the moment, but I feel like Brewmaster would probably be the way you put the monk in there, and then you get a Fury Warrior. That's not to say that I can't get into keys. I don't. like it really depends. Like there's a lot of keys right now going. I'll probably get into like at least one of these groups, and there's a lot of like Pug Warrior tanks, so that's like my benefit, right? There's not that many Pug Brewmasters, so at least the Pug Warrior, they're more likely to actually invite me. But I mean, 17s are fine. I'll be able to get these, right? Yeah, in like a couple of weeks when crests are unlocked and everything, everyone's eye level's just going to start skyrocketing, and that's when actual comps starts to get locked in and stuff once everyone's max eye level and stuff like that. But we're pretty close. We're pretty close to that, and then we get Dinars as well in a couple of weeks, which is pretty hype. Personally, I don't know what this sounds like such a first world problem. I don't know what I'm going to spend my Dinars on. I think the only thing I realistically want is a mythic track near the prism, because I think that's the only thing that will actually be useful for Dinars. Because I high rolled in my vault last week, right? I got Harvester's Interdiction, which is extremely lucky. Because this is our best in the slot weapon, but the only way you can get it is from your vault. I got lucky, right? And I got the drop. I mean, it's fine to have any other mythic weapon at like max eye level, but the only difference is this one has that little equip bonus. It's such a minute amount of extra damage. It's a bit stronger in single target, but it's so small, but it's free damage, right, at the cost of nothing. You don't lose any stats or stuff like that, because sometimes when you get like a unique weapon or something with an effect like this, you'll have like less secondary or you'll miss a secondary. But this one just has the equip on top of it, so we got pretty lucky with that. Most people are going to probably spend their dinars on a weapon, more than likely. Or I'd advise most people get a weapon. If you don't have a mythic track weapon, that would be like the first thing I'd spend dinars on. Then we start looking at things like the actual mythic track boots and stuff, or heroic track boots, because you just can't underestimate the power of the Reshirat boots. They're so strong. Even the 30% one that you get from normal, I think. Does LFR have one? 20% or something? But even the 30% one, right, is a massive DPS increase. Just proccing this cape. This cape does so much damage in all content. So probably boots is almost like what I'd secondly recommend is like you just need boots. Get them. Get them, bitch. Put those things on and you'll do damage. And then trinkets, probably. Nether Prism's always a good one, but I actually think Nether Prism's not that good in the raid. So it really depends what content you're doing. Because Nether Prism, I think, is good in M+, but it's actually kind of niche in the raid. Like, you just want, like, because for the most part, everyone's playing Shadowpan now, and for good reason, it's just stronger on pretty much all of the bosses, maybe bar, like, one or two of them. So you play 2 minutes, so a Raz Ritual Forge is so good. And then you can play a Raz Ritual Forge in M+. The issue with a Raz Ritual Forge, though, is you can't play Conduit with it. But if I was playing pure Conduit on a lot of these single target fights like Fractalis and stuff, I just run Eternal Weave, Lily of the Eternal Weave. Because the issue with Nether Prism is it sucks on pull, and the boss fights are getting shorter and shorter, so you just end up in this situation where you end up getting less value from this because you essentially lose your big Lust opener damage because you have no trinket to activate with it. So I feel like Nether Prism is a tiny bit bait for raid. And then Antenna. Antenna's just good, right? I mean, most people probably just get an Antenna, actually, thinking about it. It's reliable, used in both content, used in both hero talents. Yeah, you're probably just going to go Antenna before an active trinket, to be honest. It'd be a toss-up. It would really depend. Can you get weapons from Dinars? I think you can get the raid weapons, but you probably can't get M+ weapons, because last season you could get the raid weapons, so you can get the one from Plexus, or you can get the one from Araz, which is probably what you would get if you don't have a mythic track weapon. I mean, you can always craft a weapon, though, right? We're talking like a 3 item level difference. It's so situational what you spend your dinars on, I suppose. You won't be able to... I really doubt you'll be able to get Harvester's Interdiction, though, because last tier... they only did trinkets, right, from M+. Maybe? Like, maybe because it's a unique, they might do it, but I'd be doubtful they put a weapon in there. I'm pretty sure it was literally just trinkets. It was like your Pacemaker or your Priory Trinket and that sort of jazz. But the thing with the raid this tier is that raid loot's just really strong. Like last year, we had a lot of stuff from M Plus that was quite good for us, like trinkets and stuff, so you could actually farm that out. Like this tier, it's pretty much everything good comes from the raid. So kind of sucks a little bit if you don't raid and you just do M Plus because you can't get access to your Nether Prisms or your Raz Ritual Forges or your, Astral Antennas or your all the good trinkets. What's the new one that I got? Screams of the Forgotten. It's really good in single target. You like this. It feels like there's a very big raid bias towards gear this tier. Like I think the one good thing from M Plus is the Harvester's Interdiction, but it's only like slightly better than a raid weapon. Whereas the raid trinkets are way better than the non-raid trinkets, right? Like for starters, there's no 1 minute 30 trinket from the dungeons, if I'm correct. I think it's just 2 minutes, right? So what do you play? Oh no, Lily of... Oh, I'm an idiot. Lily of the Eternal Weave, obviously. Actually, Lily's quite good. I retract my statement. There are some good M plus ones, but for the most part, there are better versions of them in the raid, if that makes sense. Like, you could have Lily, but you probably want Nether Prism. For like M plus at least. And then you don't even play Conduit that much. I played a bit of Conduit last night, actually. I played Conduit on Fractilis, which I think is better again. I think Conduit's now better on Fractilis just because of kill times. This is the issue, right? Because kill times change. It really starts to come down to which one had the most recent cooldown, I think, on a lot of these single target bosses. I think Conduit's about to become better again on Plexus Sentinel. And then I played it for the first time on Dimensius, and I was actually surprised how strong it is. I don't know why I hadn't been doing it sooner. It's a lot more dangerous. Like P3 with Conduit feels absolutely terrifying. Like casting Slicing Winds when you've got like 8 black holes around you and you're getting sucked in and all this chat. It's actually so stressful. Like it was a reclear, like our 4th reclear of Dimensius, but my heart was beating at the very end of it because I was just like, oh my god. It was fun though. And platforms are a lot shorter now, so you actually get a lot less value from Crackling Jade Lightning. Anyway, I procced a yap that no one asked for. Absolutely just started yapping and didn't stop. I'm famed for boosting Windwalker monks to title. Oh shit, Vildy. Yeah, you are. You got me some 19s last season. I'm gonna have to hit you up. Just see you in the DMs. I saw the top guys on Murloc is going Celestial Conduit for M plus now. Yeah, I've seen multiple different ones. Like I mostly just look at Dabnel, right? Because Dabnel is the best, well, in my opinion, the best M plus Windwalker. And they were playing a lot of Conduit. I mean, I looked last week, I think was the last time I looked, but they ran it depending on dungeon. And then on Shadowpan as well, they ran different trinket combinations. Sometimes you ran double active, which I'm a big fan of. Sometimes it was like 2 minutes. I think it depends. I think both are viable. I just prefer Shadowpan and M+. I think it's just more flexible. It's not to say that Conduit's probably not better in some dungeons. Like, I think probably Conduit's much better in something like Streets, where it's a lot of single-target bosses and not much trash, right? So I think that's got the advantage there. But I still think Shadowpan's so good in single-target, and then carries on ad packs. The benefit to Shadowpan is you have a cooldown up for every ad set, essentially. It's just so flexible in what it can do. You can play 2 minutes, 1 minute 30, double active trinkets. Like, there's so many options. You could go for the... Like, at the moment, I started running Spiritual Focus again. I was a pretty big Drinking Horn cover Shadowpan player at the start of the season. And then it came to my mind that actually I could extend my Storm, Earth, and Fires, but why not just have more of them, you know? And it started playing out a bit better. The interesting thing with top leaderboard for Windwalker is that everyone plays a slight variation. Yeah, literally everyone's playing slight variations on different encounters. I'm sure it has to do with like comps and stuff like that, or because a lot of the top will have like planned out routes and stuff. Roughly know what sort of time they get into certain packs, right? So they'll know, is 2 minutes going to be good here? Because they've run this dungeon before, they've got the ideas for it. Meanwhile, me, I just wing it, dude. I arrive at the key. Who knows what's going to happen? Shit, maybe we pull this pack, maybe we pull that. I don't know. Just run it. See what happens. I should prep more. What trinket would I use on Nexus King? Good question. I would use, so that is the one of the cases where Nether Prism's actually good. So I usually run Nether Prism and Astral Antenna. Antenna's a little bit dodgy because there's so much movement, but realistically, in terms of passive trinkets, there aren't that many good options. I mean, maybe a pacemaker at like max mythic track high level would be competitive, but realistically, Antenna's just good because you can still collect the orbs. You just gotta be aware that they're spawning during movement. But the reason Nether Prism's so good is that you can have it stacked up for the most important points in the fight. So nothing really on pull, but it's such a long fight, and there are such crucial points where you want it, that you stack it up, and then you send it out during like the ad set and then the amp as well. I personally like stacking it up to about 16 and then sending it out on the ads because, you know, platform damage, why not? You know, why not? And then you get to stack it up to about like 10-ish or so for the amp. Alternatively, you can send it out like earlier in P1 and then not send it out at all on the platforms and then send it out 18 on the amp, but I think you get more value from sending it out on the platform and then sending a smaller one with the amp. It really comes down to what your guild needs. Like, do you actually need platform damage? Probably not at this point, but are you re-clearing it? Are you progging it? If you're progging it, you probably want it on the amp. But Nether Prism, like, 100%. What's a good verse number to go for? When it comes to, like, secondary stats, there's no, like, actual set number of what you want. We have, like, no actual fixed numbers. It's always just a simit sort of thing, right? Which is always, like, a lame answer, because it's always nice to get an answer of, you want this number, you want this number, you want this number, because then you can aim for those things, but it's really a bit more fluid than that. I think Versus gained a lot more value this tier, though. Because we have so much, because basically our secondary stats are so boosted by item level and stuff like that now. You basically get a ton of mastery and haste just passively from building gear around mastery and haste. And then you reach about a certain point where the sims are basically like, alright, you've got tons of mastery, you have enough haste to keep at your rotation and not be sat there doing nothing. So now we're going to focus on crit and burst. And because I run trinkets like Astral Antenna and stuff, the sims don't actually like crit that much because I'm getting a whole bunch of crit all the time from this trinket. Like, we're talking about 6,000 crit for 10 seconds every time it procs and I pick up the orb, right? That's a lot of crit. So instead it, like, funnels a lot of my secondary values into versatility. So right now I'm on 18%, right? Which is a fair bit of versatility. A lot of that comes from crafted gear. I basically have the double dust thread, which is both burst, and I'm pretty sure every piece of craft gear has some form of versatility on it. Yeah, everything but the neck. So basically all my baseline gear is mostly haste mastery, and then most of my crafted gear is all verse something, like verse mastery, verse crit. And that's how I like balance out the secondary stats. Slicing on Dimmy was scary. It is scary. It was absolutely terrifying. I mean, it's definitely the right move to go Conduit on Dimensius. I think maybe for prog it's just safer to go Shadow Pan, unless you're super confident. But P3 is absolutely terrifying. Like, casting Slicing Winds in that third phase at any point, it's just like, it feels like a death sentence. You have to be so precise with where you aim it. But it was fun. I'll put it that way, it was fun. Why haste mastery? Well, mastery is just good because they essentially increase the coefficient of it last tier. So like they increased it by 30%. So that's why, like, whilst these stats are like 20, 25, 18, mastery sat at 83%, and that's because when you get a raw point of mastery, it actually like multiplies itself a lot more than these other secondary stats. So even though like I have 19,000 mastery, 16,000 haste, the difference in percentage value is like 60%. It's crazy. Then eventually mastery starts getting like quite high diminishing returns. So there is like a loose amount that you should go up to, but you just let the sims do that for you. And the reason haste is good for both Conduit and Shadow Pan at the moment is that for Conduit, it's all about getting Fist of Furies out right in your Heart of the Jade Serpent windows, and haste just allows you to get the energy regen to keep doing that, increases the spell casting as well. So it just allows you to have the fluid rotation of just like spamming out these abilities as fast as possible without having too much issue with resource management. And it's literally kind of the same thing for Shadowpan, right? Like, the one thing you want to be doing during Storm, Earth, and Fire is what? Getting Tiger Palms out. What does Tiger Palm cost? Well, energy. It's like our literal only energy, energy spender. I don't know, except for Crackling Jade Lightning, right? So then to be getting like consistently good Tiger Palms off to allow yourself to Flurry Strike as much as possible, because that's where all the damage really comes from Shadowpan. You want a good amount of haste. It's not like you want a crazy amount of haste though. And then once the Sims are basically like, well, you can do this rotation now without suffering too much and actually, consistently doing it without having to like wait for ages to get Tiger Palm off a cooldown to keep going, then it starts funneling stuff into Verse and then to crit. Basically, when it comes to secondary stats, the best thing is just literally sim it. But I guess that's just like kind of the general understanding of why it like values haste and mastery initially so much, but then once you start getting to a certain amount, then it starts favoring the other ones. Versatility is also a good one because it increases your survivability, and if there's one thing Windwalker naturally does not have, it is survivability. Like, don't get me wrong, we have 3 defensives, plus I suppose you could say Soothing Mists, which, is okay. And our defensives are fine. I think we've got versatile defensives on low cooldowns, but it's outside of your defensives. It's when you've used your defensives, then I feel like Windwalker's so vulnerable. Naturally, like if you're playing a Death Knight, you just, what's it called? The ability, you just heal yourself with an auto attack or whatever. You press one button, you're back to full health. We don't really have that. We have like Vivify, but you have to get lucky on crit sometimes for that to actually be impactful. Just naturally, we're quite squishy, so getting some extra versatility is always just a good thing as well for survivability. It doesn't feel bad to feel a bit tankier, I suppose. Yeah, damage on Fist Fury, Scales, and Haste as well. Yeah, exactly. So that's like why it's so good for Conduit, right? It just feels like you're making things far riskier for a pretty small overall increase by going Conduit there. If you're Boomy in the race, fully get it, otherwise big risk. I mean, that's why I ran Shadowpan for all of my prog for Dementius. The big difference really comes down to, I think, P3. If you look at like actual P3 Shadowpan damage, you actually do nothing, like compared to other players. It's a really weak phase for Shadowpan. Like, I'm literally fighting for scraps at the bottom of the damage meters and the contribution, and that's really when the fight matters. Obviously, it gets a bit easier now with scaling and stuff, so it doesn't last as long. But still, you want to be doing, like, obviously it's cool to do damage in P1 and P2, right? Like, we like seeing numbers on the meters and getting a good pass, but realistically on Dementius, all the damage that matters is P3, because that's your race against time. You got to kill him before he casts his final Devour. So as much damage as you can get in that phase is valuable, and it is riskier, but Conduit does just do more damage in that phase. It's just better. It's just better with what it does. It's better for the amp. Obviously you're going with like a full stack Nether Prism as well, so you just exemplify your damage. But yes, 100%. It is riskier to play throughout the entire fight. So it's why I progged with Shadowpan and only played Conduit for the first time last night on Dementius, because why risk it? I feel like Shadowpan's just got more innate survivability as well. Stronger Vivify. Whirling Steel's pretty decent. I mean, I suppose Conduit also has the shield or the increased healing from actually pressing Conduit, but I feel like just generally Shadowpan feels just a little bit more protected, less squishy. So yeah, it really depends what you need. If you can kill the boss while playing Shadowpan, then survivability, why not? And it's not like it's bad. Like, Shadowpan's good for the rest of the fight. It's really good in P2 with all the ads and stuff, but so is Conduit, actually, surprisingly. Like, they just die so quickly now that you just nuke all your damage into Pargoth and Artosian, and you still come off pretty well. And it's good in P1. I feel like Shadowpan is relatively weak in P1. Probably the weakest phase of the entire fight. No, P3 is weaker, but P1 doesn't feel great as Shadowpan. Yeah, proccing a massive Dementius, yeah. Hello, Windwalker. Hello, Just for Lols. Alright. Let's Let's see if anyone's going to take me. Oh my god, what am I listening to right now? Hold on. Oh god, it's Taylor Swift. No. Oh god, no. The only positive is that I have like literally no 17s, so there's a lot to sign up to. The negative of this is I have no 17s, so no one invites me to groups, except for this group that I just got invited to. Don't worry too much about that. Don't worry too much about that. Alright, it's Echo Dome. I like Echo Dome. Relatively chill dungeon. I should have this on a 17. We like depleted it by 8 seconds last on Saturday or something. It felt awful. We had like this massive kerfuffle. We wiped on a pack, and then there was this big like discussion of should we abandon the key. And if we did not have that abandoned key discussion, we would have timed it. But you know how it be sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta, you know, try abandon the key when it's still timeable. But pretty chill dungeon. Ooh, TP. Sweet. Nice. Nice. How do I handle first pull on Arakara and Floodgates like we do tank damage? I agree with that for Arakara. I feel like I never do damage on the first pull of Arakara. I actually feel like I'm doing nothing. On Floodgate, though, I feel like I always pump. I feel like it's like, because on Floodgate, they get groups up really quickly, and that's where you benefit from Shadow Flurry Strikes, right? Because it's like a 6-yard range or something. So if everything's stacked up, you're going to hit everything. The issue with the Arakara pull is I think it takes so long for everything to get stacked up. And you've got casters on the outside, that you end up not getting much value from the Flurry Strikes on that pull, because everything just takes a while to get grouped up. I think if in like a perfect world, if you pulled Arakara first pull, you ran in, everything got gripped on top of each other because you have a go to DK or something, then you would actually pump into it. But I feel like because with Flurry Strikes, all your damage is coming from that Shadow AoE, which is more reliable on Floodgate as long as your tank groups everything up. But it's a lot easier, I think, to group everything on Floodgate than it is Arakara first pull. But no, I agree. I always feel like I do nothing on that first pull of Arakara. I feel like I'm so useless.
Soulscribe has betrayed us.
I'd take you. Oh, thank you.
Down our defenses, and her wastelanders are destroying the domes. They must be stopped.
What is this? Disruption grenade. I didn't even know that was a thing. There are disruption grenades in this dungeon? I've never seen them ever used. I mean, it's pretty standard. Oh, we're skipping the Sentinel. Okay, that's cool. So I guess that... How are we skipping that? I guess the Demon Hunter would have to... I mean, no, I don't care, actually. It's not my job. Not my problem. I've done the skip before with a mage. Like, a mage pulls the Sentinel and then blinks over and then... what do you... They invis or something. So you can skip it. The tank's not a night elf, so... I don't know, not my problem. I'm just here for the vibes. Oh, never mind, you got invited too quickly, won't take you. Oh no. I didn't realize you'd actually take me. Oh no. Don't worry, I'll deplete this one real quick. Quick in and out. 5-minute Echo Dome. Night Elf Pot? True, actually. The tank might be running that. I forgot that was a thing. I remember how hyped that was. Like, Night Elf Pot, this is going to be OP, and then I swear I've, like, never seen anybody use no one's ever used it.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Alright, pretty decent first pull. Now I've got to make the executive decision of holding or not for Zuen. I hate making this choice.
The devourers seem to be coming from the end. Stop them at the source.
I think the answer is no. I think it makes more sense to send here and then hold my Zuen for a big Zuen on the boss. Ow. That was 3 fought through as well. Yeah, because I'm going to have a really big Zuen for the boss here. So the one benefit to Nether Prism, right, is I actually don't mind holding Zuen. It allows me to essentially just get a bigger cooldown window. Thank you for following, Sam Chili. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not going to hit those. Let them come. I need them for pad. We're highly likely to send out a low stack lightning here. I'd like it to at least be 15. Yeah, 13's good enough, I guess. Bit unlucky I got the mechanic there because it was during my cooldowns, but I would have preferred to get the second set, the one that's going to come in now. But that's life, baby. Sometimes you're going to get to choose. Do these mites scale with the dungeon level? Because I swear they're always like... They always die so quickly. I feel like they don't, you know? So it feels like for like a 17, those mites should have like a bit of a higher health pool. Like they instantly just drop. I feel like either they don't scale or they just scale really low. I'm not complaining. Let me put it this way, I ain't complaining. So we're going to get the second one here. We can just Transcendence it again and diffuse magic. I could have also used Spatial Rift, but I think I'm just going to Transcendence it. And then once again, holding cooldowns. Just so we can get a big bunch of damage on the ads and stuff. It's kind of padding, but don't worry about it. In quotation marks, ethical padding? But it's really not. I mean, look how fast these mites die, you know what I mean? They definitely don't scale. There's no way. I'm not saying I almost got eaten, but I definitely almost got eaten there. I didn't realize how close I was. Been hoping you get access to the alpha so I can see more Windwalker. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to get alpha. I did try. I actually made a ticket. I messaged Blizzard through a ticket, and I was like, "Hi, can I have alpha?" And they essentially just said, "No, that it's not what their team does." Which I was expecting. I wasn't expecting them to say, "Yeah, boy, come on in." So it would be cool. There are a few Windwalkers that do have Alpha, though, so it's not like no one's got it. So that's good. Oh my god. That was terrifying. I hated that position I was in. Uh-oh. But I'll probably, well, I'd like to say I'd probably get Beta, but I think Beta's RNG as well. I mean, at least you can sign up for Beta. The issue with Alpha is you can't sign up for it. You essentially have to know somebody. Like, no, you gotta know a guy. Or alternatively, you've got to be popular enough. I don't fit either of those criteria. You gotta be relevant enough. Ah, shit. Failed step 1. Potentially, I should have saved cooldowns here. I probably should have saved cooldowns here, actually.
Annihilation of this place. All of this destruction for the creatures? I cannot take more.
How? Don't you just love random damage? Like, damage that makes no sense why it hit you. Like, not a cast or anything, you just take damage. For half your health bar. I love it. So, like, at least with casts, I can prep a defensive, where fucking random damage is like, okay, yeah, I'm fucking dead. These are all really spread out. Alright, Chief, I'm out of CC. Oh god, please. It's a terrifying pack. There's like a million casters. I am holding cooldowns though for the next pack because it's got the Sentinel in it and it's more dangerous. It's the Farstalkers. They jump on you, dude. They jump on they jump on you for half your health. Oh god. I think we're okay. A little bit sketchy, but I think we're fine. So I imagine he's going to pull stuff into this boss. It just depends how much he pulls. Yeah, okay. I had to cancel Fist there. Kind of cringe, but it needs to be interrupted fast to get him into the boss. Oh, we lusted. Uh-oh.
Old.
I maybe should have sent out the Stormsmith and Fire there. It might line up that it's okay, but I actually might have regrets here. I probably should have sent one. Can't hit anything.
Old. 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 Old.
Free our boys. Eh, close enough. I think we'll definitely get the third set here. Well, not, no, I don't know what I'm talking about. Third set. What the fuck am I on about? We'll get the second intermission here. Oh my god, lightning is so strong. Ow.
Old.
Yeah, we're gonna get it. And I will send cooldowns on it because it's still 25%. Oh my god, this mob's already here. This feels like a defensive angle. Things are terrifying right now. It hurts. I don't know where the damage is coming from.
Old.
Oh god.
Old.
Alright, so far so good. I was a little bit worried though when the healer died, but then I remembered they were a shaman and they just instantly res themselves. Pretty cool spec, right? Pretty cool class. Imagine that. Imagine being a spec that has like just an instant, you know, get out of jail free card. Evokers can have a cheat death. Rogues have cheat death. Shamans have a cheat death. Oh, imagine, dude. That'd be so cool.
Old. Old. Old.
Oh, this is a terrifying pack. I'm not a fan. It's one of those packs that just feels like it's never going to end. So it's just increasingly terrifying. Like, you send out all your cooldowns and... Holy shit, I thought I was dead. You send out all your cooldowns and it's like, everything's still half health. It's like, okay. Okay, it's going to be one of these packs. We're going to hold here. Around the corner.
On.
I think I can send coolies out here. Yeah, I think that was fine. I was basically judging if they had enough health to make it worthwhile. I really never want to pop cooldowns if the pack's literally going to die midway through, but everything like was taking no damage. And I was also trying to take into account the next pull. So the next pull is also massive, and I'm going to have a Storm Amplifier, but I think that's fine.
On.
Where do you get these shields from? These elementals.
On.
Oh boy. Here we go. Try spotting the lines in this sand. Challenge impossible.
On. On.
I literally cannot see their dashing lines. It's too bright. Oh, I almost walked into that one. Oh god. Yeah, definitely sending coolies here. Honestly, I don't want to say it too soon, but this is going very well. I feel like that's how you jinx a key, but it's gone extremely well.
On.
But this is where it failed last time as well. So we're gonna pull these down into it. The issue is now there's gonna be like a ton of casters chasing us. It's an extremely risky pull.
On.
And I have no coolies for it,
On.
which makes it even better. I'm gonna play CC bot here, I think. Alright, I've run out of CC. CC bot didn't last very long. Oh, do I defensive this? I feel like no. I feel like I need it for the next pack. Am I gonna regret it? Oh my god! I regret nothing.
On.
Alright, and then it's just the boss, and then usually the tank runs up here and grabs a couple of the mobs and then brings them down into the boss. So it makes what's like a pretty chill boss fight actually a little bit scary at the start. 'Cause it's usually like 2 creepers, I think. He'll bring 2 creepers and 2 phase blades. 4 phase blades? Oh god. He's playing it slow though. Like he could have easily just jumped into the boss. But he's... We might even just do this here just for safety. We've got so much time. The tank is dead.
On.
Oh no!
On.
Oh, I die as well on my 8 stacks. I just die.
Only the strong
Oh my god! It's happening again! It's happening again! I wonder how.
Kite cannot fly unless the wind blows against it, Grandmaster.
I wonder what about that pack was just too much to survive. We still have so much time. I think just do this here. I mean, just yeah, fuck it. I'm just saying coolies. Like we can play this so slow.
On. On.
I'm glad he did it like this, because a lot of the time, like,
On.
a lot of times, like, people follow routes and stuff, and then because other tanks will just run it into the boss, they'll do the same. But, like, this guy realized we have so much time, like, 'cause it's a risky pull, right, pulling it into the boss. Like, it genuinely can be quite scary. And he was essentially like, we've got so much time here, just do this pack here, and then we'll be fine.
On.
So I think that was smart. Like, we're in no time rush, basically. Oh, shit. Just probably grab my soul. We'll get these circles, and then I'll pop coolies.
On.
I see it, but I'm going to delay it. So that way I get the buff without having to move out. I can just get the buff afterwards, and then I get my entire cooldowns. Well, not the entirety of the cooldowns, but more of the cooldowns than I would have. Ow. And then we'll have Storm Weapon Fire for this next. Ow.
On.
Ow.
On.
So we're going to wait 1 second. Try to get as much as this possible. And now go. Now we have the triple stacking buff, basically, but we try to extend it for as long as possible. I've probably been greedier and got even longer out of it, but we're talking seconds here. No defensive for this. Ow. I'm going to pop a defensive for the circles, for sure.
On.
So I see it, I wait, I grab it, and then we send coolies. I'm going to take the damage from this one, because I want to pop the intermission one. The intermission one really hurts, and I don't think I'll have fought for it, but I'll definitely have defused. It's already up. Yeah. Pop me Trinket again to get some final value from it. And then I guess we'll just fort Brew. I guess we'll just Thought now. Why not?
On. On.
And then one more lightning for good luck. Nice, pretty clean. Except for that one really scary part when I thought we weren't going to time the key. But other than that, really clean.
So
Hey, GG.
also honor an oath for a dying treacherous.
Yeah, I like Echo Dome. I think the dungeons that they brought out,
There was always
like Floodgate and Echo Dome, the two new ones that they brought out of the expansion for each tier. I think they're good. I like Floodgate. I think it's well designed. And I think Echo Dome's like, it's very different sort of dungeon, right? Super linear. But it's also, I think it's just a chill dungeon. I don't mind 3 bosses. The only thing I hate about Echo Dome is the sandy area and the dashing, the lizards that dash, right? And it's really hard to actually see their lines on the floor. That's the only thing I don't like. Otherwise, good dungeon. Yeah, we actually got 17. Now I'm positive about M+ again. M+ is great. M+ is fun. Also, thank you, GOTKN, for the Prime. Appreciate it. I missed that one. Thank you so much. That's really kind. I love Echo Dome. My guild is progging Mythic Soul Hunters right now, and I have a Mythic Antenna. Do you think I should aim for a Raz Trinket or Nether Prism? A Raz at the moment. If you're progging Soul Hunt... Well, it depends. Because you'll actually want Nether Prism for Nexus King. And you'll actually want both of them for... for Dementius. You run double active on Dementius, you run Nether Prism on Nexus King, and you run a Raz on Soul Hunters. So it really depends how far you are through prog and how long you think you'll be on that boss, I suppose. Because I imagine Soul Hunters prog won't be as long as Nexus King, but a Raz will help you more on Soul Hunters. It's a really good Windwalker fight. Probably one of the better melee DPS for it. Actually, one of the better DPS in general for that fight. It's kind of crazy. But you basically play a Raz 2-minute Shadow Pan on Soul Hunters, and you essentially just send out all your cooldowns almost every 2 minutes, which a Raz gets super good value from. You can play Nether Prism on it, though. The issue with Nether Prism on Soul Hunters is it's one of those fights where you want a really big front-loaded damage output. Like, sometimes for some bosses, the damage that you do on pull isn't as important. But with Soul Hunters, it is insanely important because it's a triple boss, right? So you got 3 bosses on top of each other. They're doing basically nothing at that point during the fight. For like the first 20 or so seconds, they do nothing. They stand in the same spot. So you want a really front-loaded amount of damage for that fight. And with a Nether Prism, you have no damage from a Trinket, whereas a Raz is like massive front-loaded damage for that fight. So I'd say long-term prog, you want Nether Prism for Nexus, but a Raz would help you right now with Soul Hunters. So it's a hard one, because you want both of them, realistically, them for Dementius. Or both of them an option. I imagine you've already down for Actilis, because if you're on Soul Hunters, you probably haven't done Soul Hunters first. But for Actilis, you probably also want a Raz. So yeah, I think it really depends how far you are through prog, and if you think, like, is it another week? Is it another 2 weeks? Because if it's like going to be another week or 2 weeks, then get the Raz to help with that boss, and then the Nether Prism afterwards, if that makes sense. But if you think, oh, we'll probably down it during this week, then you probably want to search for a Nether Prism, right? Still sad about the Windwalker changes, losing Storm, Earth, and Fire for Weapons of Order, and then losing Lightning for no reason. It feels like Windwalker's glow is going away. I can see how that comes across. They've done quite a bit of pruning. I'm probably more sad about the lightning because I think it is cool and I think it opens up a fair few like builds for us and stuff, but it's also super unhealthy. The issue is they'd have to balance it perfectly. Right now it's not a balanced ability in Raid. In M+, I actually think it's balanced, right? Like Crackling Jade Lightning it contributes a fair bit, but it's not insanely broken. Whereas in Raid, when you're on a good Crackling Jade Lightning boss, it's just stupid. It's all your damage, right? And it's just like, is that really healthy? Because then you do other bosses where you don't get Crackling Jade Lightning value, and you actually start to realize that Windwalker's actually not that strong. You know? So it creates a damage profile that is very specific for certain fights, which is like, you have the argument of that's good because it fits a niche that a lot of other specs don't. But then it has also the niche of, if there aren't those certain fights, and this is how they've designed the damage profile for Windwalker, then it's not great, right? So I feel like they're trying to put more power into our more basic rotation, which I think overall will be better. But obviously, it's a loss of an ability that's cool. I enjoy it. And it's also dopamine, right? When you hit that Crackling Jade Lightning and your damage just goes... I get it. Storm Earth and Fire, I think visually it's sad and it's an iconic ability, but at the same time, it's so buggy. There's nothing worse than knowing how buggy Storm Earth and Fire is. I'd rather be ignorant on it than knowing like how much of a detriment this ability actually is. Like there's so many issues with it. Like it doesn't work with certain talents, has issues with like pots, has issues with pets. It sometimes will not attack targets depending on certain situations. Sometimes it will face the wrong direction. I think like someone mathed it out and they wrote a really good post on it about how much damage, like, 'cause it's meant to give you a 20% damage buff, but they worked it out through like testing and stuff that it actually only gives you a 14% damage buff. Like, it's just, and the issue is, it's either fix it, right, or remove it, and they can't fix it. I think that's the big issue, because otherwise they would have tried. I mean, it's just spaghetti code from when monks were introduced in MOP, right? Like, if it was fixable, I'd opt for that version, right? Fixable Storm Earth and Fire. But the issue is that it's just... It's got so many underlying problems, and it actually... it doesn't do what it says on the tin. It's just an issue. But fantasy-wise, it sucks. I like the boys. I like summoning the clones. I think it always feels powerful. Like, it feels, like, powerful and, like, class fantasy when I press, my button. My boys come out and we start all hitting stuff together. Weapons of Order is just like I haven't tested it on alpha. Playing Brewmaster, it's basically just a smack ground, right? Smack ground, get buff. So the boys will be missed, but they're also really bad boys that don't do what they're meant to do. Oh, no worries, Gio. Thanks for tuning in. Problem with Storm Earth and Fire for me is like when you cast Fist of Fury, they don't line up targets. I mean, yeah, that's literally one of the points, right? Is that they don't face the correct way. Sometimes, well, more often than not, I'd say they don't actually face the correct way. They actually don't replicate damage correctly as well. I think reading that post, the only thing they properly replicate the damage of is Slicing Winds. Every other ability that Windwalker presses, I think they don't actually do it how it, like, to the full extent that ability should be sent out. So it's just like, it's annoying. Like, if they worked well, and they replicated damage correctly, and they face the correct direction and stuff, yeah, don't remove it. But it means that, like, sims don't work like that, right? So when, like, you look at sim data and stuff, and it's like, oh, Windwalker's doing pretty well, you actually have to take a portion of that off for how stupid our clones are. So, like, there's positives and negatives to it. Weapons of Order will be a 1 minute cooldown. Isn't it 1 minute 30? I thought they just had it the exact same as Storm Earth and Fire, unless they've changed anything. I was under the impression it was 130 with 2 charges. I looked last week. I haven't looked in a while, so they might have changed stuff. All right, good Echo Dome. Another one off the list. Dun dun. It's 130, but you get a lot of reduction in the tree. Ah, I see. I get you. So we remove Echo Dome. 18 Resili? I'm not qualified to do 18s. I don't have those credentials. That is like the perfect group for me. This has got 3 druids in. I just want to be part of that because that looks fun. This one is asking me to tell them how much I'm going to pay them to do their key. Oh, I've got to pay them per try. Interesting. Oh, this one was also a note. Pay me to do my key. Windwalker got no changes going into week 2 alpha. I did look at that, actually. I think I wouldn't be too worried about that. It looks like they've mainly, like, a lot of specs and stuff didn't get a lot of changes going into week 2. It looked like for Monk, they fully focused on Mistweaver for this week. Like, if you look at all the changes and stuff, it's almost every single one's Mistweaver. There was, like, a couple of things that might be cool in the class tree, but they're really, like, minimal and stuff. Like, leg sweep. Now, being able, like, if you can tell it into leg sweep, applying disable, which could actually be useful. I think that's probably more PvP related. But there might be a niche, right, where it might actually be useful to leg sweep into a slow, right? Maybe. But it was very heavily Mistweaver oriented, at least for Monk. So I imagine they're probably doing it. Maybe they might be doing it like, you know, spec by spec sort of thing. Please let me into your dungeons. I wish I could filter the ones that say note. Because I've got a lot of filters on at the moment, so like I've only got ones for Party Fit, Bloodlust, Not Decline, that sort of jazz, but I wish there was a way to remove the note ones, because there's no point even attempting to sign up to them. There probably is a way, I'm just too stupid. Morning, did you get into Alpha? No? I didn't hit the criteria. Unfortunately. The criteria of either knowing a dude who knows a dude who can get you in, or being relevant enough. I'd like to think it's the knowing a dude who knows a dude to let you in, but in my heart of hearts, I know it's the relevant part. I did make a ticket. I said earlier I made a ticket. I didn't think it would work, but I was like, I have no other way of contacting Blizzard, right? Like, how do you actually contact them other than make ticket? And they said like no, because it was not the way that you get into Alpha, which makes sense, right? Like, otherwise you just make tickets and get in. But I literally couldn't think of any other possible way. But at least I tried. I can say I tried. There are Windwalkers that are in though. I think there's like 2 or 3, so that's good. Like I think Max did that. Liquid Max did that thing the other day where he went through all the alpha and people's thoughts. So we had a spokesperson. I think it was Mikey who got in. So like at least stuff's being tested and stuff like that. At least it's not like no Windwalkers have it. So at least that, yeah. I had a guy say he's declining the meta, accepting off meta, then I signed up and got declined. Hmm. I don't know if I'd classify us as meta. What dungeon is this? Gambit. Oh, I don't mind. Actually, Do I mind? I kind of mind Gambit, actually. I don't like it. I like the second half. Gambit's one of those ones as well, where, like, I don't like the Murloc zone. Like, there's a lot of trash there. But the initial pull on Gambit always feels so awful, I think. Because, like, none of the Murlocs are grouped up, and then they all run away, so half the time, like, once they hit that threshold of running away, you're not hitting anything. So you all spread out, so that sucks. I feel like it's definitely like a... If I was a hunter, I'd love this dungeon. But I'm not a hunter. The second half's fine. Like, once you defeat the first boss and move on to the pirate zone, then it's actually a fun dungeon. But I don't know. I hate mobs that run away. Because it just feels like there's nothing I can do. And I also hate how people do the first boss. I think it feels awful. It's now that, like, to do the first boss, those 4 guardians on the stairs always get dragged into the first boss. So you're doing this boss with 4 guardians on top of it, all shooting out frontals and massive circles. So once again, I think it's super ranged heavy. Because if they all cast at different times, as a melee, I'm literally never hitting any of them or the boss because they're all stacked on top of each other. It feels awful. Like, genuinely, it just feels like such an awful boss to do. Once you're down the guardians, it's fine, but it's just not fun to play. Once again, if I was a hunter, oh my god, it must be so fun, right? Like, you're hitting everything, you don't have to deal with all the mechanics. As a melee, I pop my cooldowns, and then they start casting their crackling circle thing. What do I do? Like, what the fuck do I do? I just take it. But it's okay, we've got a full melee comp, so we're all going to suffer together. Like, I understand why you pull it into the boss. The boss does literally nothing. Like, it's how it should be done. But you run into this situation where you've got all these mobs that you can't hit, on top of the 2 ones protecting the boss. It just feels bad. You hate it because as a Windwalker monk, you're usually with a full melee comp. Yeah, true. I mean, usually I think the only ranged I usually play with is a hunter, right? So I think this could easily be a double active dungeon, because the first pull's pretty important. As I said earlier, like, the first pull's so awkward, but it is such a big pull, and having no trinket for it does suck. I mean, most of the pulls in this dungeon are big. I think it's a double active. Yeah, I've convinced myself. We'll Araz Ritual Forge the first one, and then you essentially play your trinkets as 3-minute trinkets, where you send them out on alternates, Zuins. It doesn't always line up like that, but that's the idea behind it. Because what it does is it allows your Nether Prism to essentially stack up to 18 every time you pop it, which means it's an insanely strong Nether Prism. And then Araz Ritual Forge is just good as it is. The downside is no passive trinket throughout the entire dungeon. But that's actually not that bad a thing, because almost all of, like, the majority of our damage comes from our burst windows, right? So when do you want the most damage? Well, I'd like it during my Stormith and Fire burst windows, yeah. And a lot of the time when you play in Tenor, you don't actually, like, it's random when you proc the orbs, right? So sometimes during your burst window, you proc tons of them. You proc 3. Sometimes during your burst window, you proc none. So I'd rather just have a massive main stat buff for every burst window. The downside is always reliably getting cooldowns out every 1 minute 30. That is not always the case. Sometimes there's a little bit of awkward overlapping. And also remembering to press Nether Prism, but that's a me problem. Any advice on how I can gain back the 5% damage I lost by ditching my disc? Oh, they nerfed disc, didn't they? That kind of sucks. My best thought would probably be work out which stat it was that the disc belt was actually giving you and try to get a bit more of that. So let's say you were using your disc belt predominantly to give you crit chance or predominantly to give you mastery, then try to get a replacement that gives you those stats, right? So that's obviously where you were getting. That's obviously the stat that the belt was like carrying, because that's how I use the disc belt, right? I always switch between haste, mastery, or crit, dependent on which one I had. Like which one the Sims told me give me the most value. So then when I lost my disc belt, it made sense to put a bit more of that stat into some of my crafted gear. So let's say my disc belt at the time was really good for mastery, then I ditched it for a better belt. Then I switched out some of my crafted gear so that my crafted gear gave me like a little bit more mastery, right? But they nerfed it, yeah. I forgot they nerfed it today or yesterday. Just got kicked out of WoW. Yeah, the servers are fucking dog shit at the moment. I don't know if you played yesterday, but it was the worst servers I've seen in a while. Like, my character was getting bricked in raid. I kept having to log out, and then my character couldn't be found. I couldn't cast anything. It wasn't fun. Like, the servers were so bad. It was laggy as well. Like, it was just horrendous. And it's because they put the Legion servers on the same thing as this. So you've got everybody playing Resell, everybody playing Legion Remix on the exact same, like, servers. It's like people, like, playing on the certain things are in our guild, right? So they're playing on the same, I guess, server-side sort of thing. So you've got tons of people playing, and it just... I don't even think it's that. I just think it's just buggy in general. Yeah, it was horrible. Today it's not been so bad. I haven't been kicked out yet or had my character brick itself. But last night was not fun. Forge and Prism? Yeah, I think double active makes sense for this dungeon. Like, double active is surprisingly good, because it exemplifies every burst window, like, really strong. Like, gives it a lot of power. The only downside to double active is if you run into the situations where you don't want to pop on a certain thing when your cooldowns come up, and then you're delaying it, and then that eats into the time of the other active, or it overcaps your 18 stacks of Nether Prism. That's the downside to it. But in like a perfect world where you're able to pop every 1 minute 30, get full value off, I actually think it's a better setup. Real gameplay does not work like that. But I think there's enough pulls in this dungeon that are big enough to justify this take.
5, 4.
Can I use both at the same time? Not at the same time. You can technically Araz Ritual Forge and then 20 seconds later use a Nether Prism, which means that your Nether Prism will technically be stacked on top of the very end of the Ritual Forge, but it's not worth doing it like that. It's worth playing them as 3-minute trinkets. Oh, Lord have mercy on my soul. I hate this pull so much. I don't fucking do anything. I think the issue I have here is that I focus the giant, because it makes sense to focus the giant, and then the pack gets pulled off of the giant. Then I have the choice of hitting the giant or being a goblin, and I actually choose the ethical play. Which is wrong. Never choose the ethical play. Yeah, I do no damage. So I essentially wasn't on top of any of the Murlocs for that burst. So maybe I just need to play this opener better and stop hitting the giant and focus more on the Murlocs. That's going to hurt. How bad? Ah, it's fine. I fucking hate Murlocs. Yeah, man, just follow them into the water. You'll be fine. It's just so stupid. Oh, that's a massive pull, my dude. Okay. I mean, my health just almost got one shot. That was kind of cool. Why did my health bar go? Yeah, the one downside to double actives is pretty much having to send off a cooldown. So even though it was like a pretty awful place to send cooldowns, I still did it. Otherwise, I'm overstacking my nether prism, and I think it's just better. Oh, now we get to do the horrendous thing where we pull these guardians down. I fucking hate this part of the dungeon, dude. Does it bounce? Yeah, it bounces. 18 stack nether prism into quad guardians. Sounds pretty good, no? Okay, we're not... We are pulling into the boss, but it's being slow about it. I like this. This is good. Ooh. Nah, this is smart. This tank's smart. I rate him. Can I walk on top of those? I feel like that is a bad decision. Oh, fuck me! This is what I mean. If they're all full health, what are we doing here? But he did it slowly. So now they're pretty much dead and we can actually do this boss. Now, this guy's genius. He's actually playing in the 19th dimension. And I also did tons of damage because no one else was attacking them. You fools. I hate Death Knights. I fucking hate Death Knights. You see that shit? I don't know how that didn't one-shot me. I was stood on top. I was like, wait, I haven't got this mechanic. Wait, hold on. What's going on here? Ah, but he had the mechanic. It was directly under my feet. I should have died. That thing hits like peanuts. Oh, imagine being a spec that can just stand there, pop a shield on themselves and just take it. Oh my god. That's the dream. Bro, what am I listening to right now? I wish I could change it, but I'm kind of mid-boss. What the fuck am I listening to? Get away from me! These goblin melees. That's crazy. Do you see that? Instead of moving out, they just run in a fucking circle. That's crazy. I hate melee players. Alright, we're sending out an 18 stack nether prism here. It's going to be juicy. Oh my god, with a 20 stack lightning. I'm going to miss this. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just run in a circle with it. So I usually go to the edge and... You know what I mean? Like, I usually just go to the edge and... chill. Maybe I should... just get good. I'm not sending out a Storm Earth and Fire here. That is not worth it. Oh god, he's got it again. Everybody panic. Oh, see, that's not too bad. He did on the outside this time. And we'll save the lightning as well. Because I want lightning for the next pack, basically. Big lightning. No point sending it on a boss that's pretty much dead. And let me change this song, because this is... I don't even know. I was listening to K-pop Demon Hunters. Oh, to be fair, they got some bangers. That was not one of them. I like the Gold song. Is it called Gold? Golden? That's a bop. I can get behind that. Alright, we're gonna have to wait for coolies here. I'm even gonna hold the lightning because it's just more powerful to do so. Everyone likes golden. Yeah. True. Alright, so we'll let the nether prism stack up again. We won't have it for the next pack, but we'll have it for the one afterwards just before boss. Because this should be the double packer. Yeah, so this will be the double packer. We'll send out one Storm Earth and Fire, and then we'll send out everything on that pack. It would be nice if I had Zune for this, but it just doesn't line up this way. Pop some defensives, because there's no way we're getting every single interrupt. Pop a double defensive here, because that's going to hurt. And we have Zune now. Oh, we're just letting them cast. Oh, and you send it. Because they're still alive, and we're going to pull them into the next pack. Right? Pull them into the next pack. Actually, they ran out. It's fine. It worked out. So we have nothing for this. Wait, what am I talking about? I have 20 stack lightning. So we have no cooldowns for the boss. Sometimes boss damage isn't important, you know? It's only the hardest boss in the dungeon. Also, who's doing the pop on the last boss? So we're all melee. The healer? Deal with it when we get to it. As long as it's not me. As long as it's not me, that's all I'm saying. Oh, it's not too bad, actually. The pack lasted longer than I thought it would, so we pretty much have cooldowns. And then it's a Erasa Ritual Forge cooldown. Send.
I require a target.
A chest of gold to whoever.
We're about to get cooldown, so I'll just hold the lightning here just for that extra value.
Infinite breath.
Oh, good lord. 5 melee walk into a bar and put fire in, like, every single spot that you don't fire. Fucking melee players, dude. What are we like? See, those are the smart ones. They run to the back. Oh, that's bad.
Infinite breath.
Why is this boss nowhere near dead? We have the Nether Prism set coming up in a sec. Just gotta keep an eye on this. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see seed. Oh, no! That would have been really bad. I would have lost every single stack. Okay. I mean, the tank just got one shot. He just didn't dodge the fire circles. He just didn't dodge the fire circles. Maybe still doable? And the issue is that the DPS player got the frontal, and I don't think they had any idea what to do with it as well. So they didn't aim it at any of the brutes. I don't think they do this. No healer. Nah, I don't think you can do it. Oh, that's sad. That's a sexy prism stack. It is the one benefits for running double active. Like the benefit to double active is that you can get these 18 stack nether prisms. I mean, I'd argue it's still timeable, but I'm a little bit cooked in the head. I think it would have been okay. I'm not. I was gonna say it would be okay if the frontal was maybe shot into the dude that spawned, but obviously that's a repercussion of the tank dying, so not much you can really do there. So I want to say I got meleeed. I mean, I can't really. You can't. Yeah. If they all got hit, maybe. But yeah, unfortunately the tank died. Not much you can really do there. It was going well, alright. I still stand by double actives there. I think double actives works out well. Another one. Run it back. I mean, none of these comps really fit me. It literally makes no sense to be in any of these, but I'll give it a go. Just picked up Windwalker this season. Absolutely love the playstyle. Don't love the target cap. I don't really think the target cap's much of an issue. I think it's a little bit of a misconception. We have like literally no fixed target caps. I mean, they all do reduce damage past 5 targets, but it's still damage, right? Like think about it this way, right? Fury Warrior is insanely fucking like has some insane cap restrictions on it, and that thing slaps at the moment. So it's just about damage numbers. That's why I'm actually skeptical about the rushing wind kick ability that they're adding in the alpha. It replaces Rising Sun kick, and it does split damage that does actually the damage max is at 5 targets. So because it's split damage, it can only do it truly does a fixed amount of damage, no matter how many targets there are, and that is actually bad. That is a problem, because unless the damage is absolutely ludicrously insane, it sucks, and that is actual target capping. And right now it does suck because the damage is nowhere near enough for it to be worthwhile. Because the amount of damage it will do at 5 targets is the same as it will do on 1,000,000 targets because it's split damage. So that's bad. But we have reduced pretty much all of our AoE is 5 targets, reduced damage after that, and reduced damage is still damage, right? It could be worse. Oi, mate. Oi, mate. What are you doing in my key? Why? Why no keys? Riddle me this. What the fuck is going on? Isn't that just a problem with Strike of the Windlord in live right now? Yeah, Strike is like the one, I think the only one that actually does. I think it works in a weird way. What is it? Yeah, Strike's one where it does like main damage to everything, then it's reduced to secondary targets. I'm pretty sure like an entire forum post was written about Strike of the Windlord. TLDR is this ability actually sucks without any of the external buffs on it. So at least like Thunderfist and stuff, you gain extra stacks based on how many targets you hit. But the actual raw damage of Strike of the Windlord is so bad. 1,000,000 physical damage, and then it does reduce to all secondary targets. But everything else, like when you look at Spinning Crane Kick, it's 5 targets reduced. Well, I suppose you can argue Crackling Jade Lightning's fixed at 5 targets. But that's one of those instances of an actual 5 targets ability that's insanely powerful, right? And that's why, like, it's more to do with tuning and damage than it is to target restrictions. Actually, it's an amazing example. Crackling Jade Lightning can only hit 5 targets, but it is our strongest 5 target ability when you start it up to 20, and it's not even close. Like, I don't think any other ability can compete with it. So, it's all to do with, like, I suppose the scaling of the damage, right? Slicing Winds, Angry Face. It's the exact, yeah, Slicing Winds are the same. Reduced damage beyond 5 targets. Slicing Winds does slap, though. It's like the better version of Strike of the Windlord. Strike of the Windlord will do 1,000,000 to one target and then reduce to the others. Slicing Winds does 1.5 to 5 targets and then reduce to the others. I'm a big fan of Slicing Winds. I just don't like... The only thing I don't like about Slicing Winds is being forced to use it at certain times. That's the only thing I don't like, right? Because generally speaking, like in 99% of all situations, Slicing Winds is a fine ability to press. But in that 1% of situations where it's like really awkward to press and you don't want to press it at a certain time to do like to dodge or to be precise in movement, but then because how it operates with Strike of the Heart of the Jade Serpent, you kind of have to press it at very specific times. Like it always has to come after the Strike of the Windlord, and you basically don't really want to be holding those two for too long of a period, otherwise you'll lose the uptime, or like the uptime of cast throughout a fight, and that's where all the damage comes from. So I don't like the forced element of it. You have to press it after this, and you have to press it essentially every 20 seconds. That feels bad. But like when you play Slicing Winds, like with Shadow Pan and stuff, then it's really cool. It's fun. And that's going to carry over to Midnight. So because they're integrating the tier set into the... They're integrating the tier set into the hero talents for Conduit. So realistically, to play Conduit next tier, if things stay the same in the alpha, you have to play Strike of the Windlord or Whirling Dragon Punch. Non-negotiable. They activate your heart window. You have to play Zuin. It's a have to take talent. If you don't take Zuin, you can't even run Conduit. And you pretty much have to take Slicing Winds, because once again, it also activates Heart of the Jade Serpent. And I think that's the thing I least like about it, is all of the, you have to take this, you have to take this, you have to take this, because that, you know, that takes a lot away from choice, right? Or suddenly, like, you've got quite a few locked-in talent nodes that you have to build towards and play with, otherwise you can't play that hero talent. What's the word for it? It's choice, but it's not autonomy, is it? The word is lost on me. But you know what I mean. Why no one do key? Alright, well, I'm gonna queue my own key. It's only a 16, it gets me nothing, but there's no real 17s going at the moment, so I'll just queue. Why not? Why is it trying to queue me for delves? I don't know. What's 16? Like 300? Yeah, 300. I hate that you sacked the mobility. Oh yeah, Flying Serpent Kick. I didn't mind it so much in Season 2. I actually got used to not using Flying Serpent Kick. But then since Season 3, where you play quite a bit more Shadow Pan, I got used to actually pressing Flying Serpent Kick again. And it does feel weird to lose it. I'm not quite sure what the decision was for making it replace Flying Serpent Kick. Maybe less buttons. Because you're not using Slicing Winds as a form of mobility, right? Like, it is a damage ability that you optimally just one-tap. So I think it was a strange choice to... Like, it's not like you have to have Flying Serpent Kick. Like, we have a lot of mobility just generally. But I did always find that a weird choice. Like, maybe if you use Slicing Winds actually as mobility, and it did more damage the whole longer you held it down, then maybe. But you don't play anything like Serpent Kick. What do I want? I want a DK. I think that DK is the only thing that I know I want. Just for the second boss, so I don't have to do anything on it. Makes life 10 times easier. Warrior or Paladin would be good. My heart's telling me Warrior? Yeah. So then I could be a bit more flexible with the DPS. A Hunter would be good. Gives us some ranged. And then just a Shaman healer, obviously. Non-negotiable. Have to go Shaman. Haha. I think it's got to be Hunter. $3,390. Should I make my 17 Halls of Atonement you can join? Ooh. I mean, I wouldn't say no. I can completely just disband this group. I would 100% say yes to a 17 Halls of Atonement. I need that key. Yes. The answer is yes. I'll remove all these people instantly. Ellie Shaman for that sweet mastery, Warrior for angry shouts. Yeah, Warrior for angry shouts. I think the best place at the moment for Shaman in this comp is the healer. Because yeah, Ellie's okay, but it's better to probably have Enhance with a melee comp, and Enhance isn't as good at the moment. And Resto Shaman is just good, right? So you usually just go Resto Shaman with the melee comp. It's a pretty locked-in melee comp. Potentially in like an ideal world, you drop the Windwalker. Just take something better. A rogue, perhaps. Isn't making Slicing Winds hold for damage way worse at the moment, though? Or I got it wrong? Oh, no, it doesn't increase your damage. I was just saying, like, a hypothetical world, maybe, where holding it down increased damage, it would be good. It doesn't actually work like that at the moment. Like, it does the same damage no matter how long you hold it down. I was just thinking about why it replaced Flying Serpent Kick. Like, it would make more sense if you actually were meant to use its full distance. That'd be horrible design, by the way. You would never want to Flying Serpent Kick. Like, it would make no sense. But, but I digress. Isn't it hold for damage in alpha at the moment? It did say that, but it's not correct. It isn't hold for damage. There was quite a few mistakes on the WoW head post. That would be horrible, by the way, if it actually was like hold for damage. Because like think about it this way, right? You're forced to play Slicing Winds, and then you open it on a pack, and you press Slicing Winds, and you go flying all the way over here, and then you got to run back to the pack to, and then hit it. Yeah, that would have been uproar worthy. Because that would just be insane, especially with how often you have to press it, right? Every 20 seconds. Can you imagine like doing a raid boss where you have to dash across the room? Oh my god. Yeah, so it's just like it was a misprint, I think. But it's not hold to increase damage in alpha. I'm just gonna run this one quickly. Ranzau. So I formed this group. I created the Avengers. Don't worry, it'll be like 5 minutes. We'll deplete it quick. Do I know when my Dementius guide will be out? Like the individual video? Soon? Soon. But I do have a full boss guide video that already covers everything that would be in that video. I did a whole, like, boss fight thing that I take, like, literally every single boss, any of those individual boss guides come from that one stream I did, where I go through everything. So, technically my Dementius guide is already out. It is an hour long, though, so... In the actual video, I'll cut it down, but the raw footage is like an hour long, which is insane. It shouldn't be. No one should yap about a boss for an hour. Must have missed it. Got to look it up. I think it's called like Complete Boss Guide or something. It was a live stream. I did it. every boss, and it's time stamped on the Dementius bit. I'm so lost right now. Crazy opinion, but I like slicing winds in keys to dodge stuff as long as I don't forget there is cast time. That is a crazy take. I don't think I've ever used slicing winds to dodge. That is... I mean, that's cool, but that is crazy. That is insane. Don't get me wrong, that's like... if
5,
I had the brain power for that, to dodge with it.
2, 1.
I wouldn't risk. I wouldn't trust myself not to fuck it up. So there's like a big swirly underneath me, and I hold this ability. I'm like, oh shit.
2, 1.
But hey, if it works. I'm running double active because I don't really think about it. I think it's fine in this dungeon though. You'll make this first pull at least good, I guess. My healer just got one shot. Like, straight up just one shot from one ability. That's crazy. Ah, my tank's dead. I mean, I told you it'd be a quick one.
Your survival wasn't necessary.
I did say it'd be a quick one. It's something about Priory, dude. I don't know. Everybody's run this dungeon. There's something about it. People just... Yeah, it seems to be like the kryptonite of every single person that ever runs this dungeon. Wiping on the first pull isn't usually common, though. Resi? It is, but we're not running it again. Oh. No. It 100% is, but I ain't running this shit again. Floodgate's the kryptonite this season. See, I don't have that experience. I feel like Floodgates have all gone fine. I feel like Priory, I don't know if it's because of last season and people just have a mental block with it and they just automatically think this is a terrifyingly hard dungeon. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a hard dungeon. But I just find this one so hard to complete. And it's usually at the end of the dungeon as well, which is the worst part of it. It's that final room where you have the roaming trash pack, and I don't know, something just goes wrong every time. It always gets pulled at the worst moment possible.
Misbehave. Take one for a run before it maims someone.
Off to a good start. Take a second monk to your key just for the lols? Just for the lols. Yeah, fuck it. Sony, it's a Rizzy 16. I have nothing. Sure, dude. How cooked are we for midnight, be honest? I don't know. I personally don't think we're cooked. I like a lot of the things they're bringing in. I think there's still tons of tuning and changes that are going to happen, so it always feels weird to like make a super big impression, like judging up straight away. There's some things they need to change, otherwise they're not viable. Like the whole rushing wind kick build makes no sense if rushing wind kick does split damage. Like it's just like, why would I build into this if it doesn't actually do AoE damage? Well, it's absolutely pointless. Like, there's a lot of cool things. I always find, like, the negatives overshine the positives in a lot of these situations, and you always, like, hone in on the negative, right? But, like, there's tons of things I'm really happy about. Like, I think they've reworked Shadowpan to actually be, like, it makes sense. Like, Flurry Strike's just playing, like, sending out when you Fist of Fury. That makes a lot of sense. It stops the degenerate gameplay of Tiger Palming constantly to get Flurry Strikes out. It's more consistent Flurry Strikes. It actually fits into the rotation nicely. Shadow proc Flurry Strikes always like expel every time you flurry strike, so you're no longer having to like track all these buffs or anything. It's a bit more passive, obviously. It's a bit more like maybe a bit more simplistic, but I think it was really unhealthy. It feels horrible, right? To do all this like you'll see Fist of Furies up on cooldown, spinning crane kicks, whirling dragon punches, all these abilities that are your heavy hitters. And what are you doing during a Stormwrath on Fire? Well, you're just tiger palming every other ability at max chi. Like it's kind of bad, no? I don't know. I think there's some cool talents in there. I don't think we're cooked by any means. I just worry they maybe are creating some talents that just are dead on arrival if they don't actually work correctly or work how they should. It's mostly Rushing Wind Kick, I think, is just a bad one in its current iteration, and it kind of kills a lot of the builds. Like, it's an entire, like, Blackout Kick effect focus build, which is kind of cool, right? You're playing around the Blackout Kick effect, which you don't really do at the moment, like, a little bit. And it empowers your Rising Sun Kick, which should then do, like, really big AoE damage with Rising Sun Kick, but it just doesn't. So it's like, well, what's the point? Why would I take Memory of the Monastery and all these other talents that activate it if it just doesn't do what you'd expect it to do? Like, you might as well just take something else. I like that they're trying to integrate Rising Sun Kick into AoE, because at the moment, right, you're Rising Sun Kick for two reasons: either to Whirling Dragon Punch or to reduce the cooldown of Fist of Fury. So in AoE, like M+, it always feels awful to Rising Sun Kick, because you're using it to activate one of these, right, or make one of these come up faster. But the actual ability itself does nothing in AoE situations, so it always feels bad to press. But they're trying to make it so that at least Rising Sun Kick might feel good to press in Midnight, and that's cool. Like, it's most noticeable with Conduit, right, where you press a lot of Rising Sun Kicks during your burst windows to get more Fist of Furies out. Your Rising Sun Kick's basically doing nothing. All the damage comes from Fist of Fury, so like every other global you're spending on this ability that actually doesn't really do much in the AoE situation. So it always feels bad to press it, but you have to. So now at least if they make this actually do some decent AoE damage, it doesn't feel as bad. It's like, okay, I'm pressing my single target ability, but now it cleaves AoE. Ooh, cool. But it won't be strong enough to like make it so you don't press spinning crane kick. So it's like trying to find that tight line. I don't know. I think it's fine. I like Midnight. I like Midnight. 20% are positive, 8% are negative at the moment. Like Windwalker specifically, or just in general? So I'm pretty sure like most classes are just negative about their changes, which is just, you know, that that's just what that's just how it is, isn't it? Windwalker. I mean, I think there's some cool concepts there. I think like it can be negative to say they've made it so you have to take Strike of the Windlord or you have to take Whirling Dragon Punch, and true, you've lost an ability there, and that kind of sucks. But on the flip side, it then opens up another thing with Conduit, which means that you don't always have to take Strike of the Windlord. You can actually take Whirling Dragon Punch instead, and that's your heart activator. And that can change how, like, you actually, like, Strike of the Windlord is directional, right? Whirling Dragon Punch, area effects. They can, I reckon they'll be tuned differently as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Whirling Dragon Punch is the better AoE option. Strike of the Windlord's the better single target one. Like, it wouldn't make sense for them both, one to be both good at both, otherwise what's the point of the choice node, right? So I think that's kind of cool. I think there's some cool talents there as well, right? Like there's a lot of like manipulation with chi, making Slicing Winds cost chi but more energy, but do more damage. Increasing the duration of Fist of Fury, decreasing the chi cost. I think there's some cool ideas there. But it's always hard to just not play it, right? Like all I can do is just read it and just take like some understanding from that. It's always different when you actually play it. Just by reading the new Wisdom of the Wall, I want to throw up. I mean, I get that. it's not very exciting, is it? It's just a panda that smacks things. Like there's nothing to be excited about that. It's just you summon a panda and he hits stuff. And I think from hearing the testing on it, it doesn't even like cast like Fist of Fury and replicate ability. It literally just hits stuff. So that is a little bit like is a little bit lame. Yeah, I was gonna say, but it removes the wisdom of the wall, degenerate gameplay of having to like make yourself stack to one and having to rotate through these buffs. But it wasn't. I never thought this was too bad, to be honest. I'll be honest. I think the big difference they're trying to do, which I am an advocate for, is it like from reading through them both. Conduit by far, like even at the moment, I think Conduit's still hard, but it feels like they're trying to make Shadowpan the passive one much easier playstyle, standard rotation, nothing too crazy to have to work around or think about. Whereas Conduit feels like it's got like tons of different cogs, all moving in different directions, and you've got to have like pretty solid understanding of Conduit. And I like that because it gives players the option to play like the simpler one, which is better for learning. In general, it's better to like get into the spec and stuff, learn a rotation with its easier one. But for people that like think Shadowpan are boring and stuff, or it's too simple, then they can play Conduit. And I think that will have a much higher skill ceiling. I've always been a fan of that, having like the two hero talents be different in their difficulty. And I think they are going to be quite different in the difficulty. Because I don't think Conduit's got harder, per se, but I think Shadowpan's got a lot more simplistic. But I think that's fine. I think the issue might become as if Shadowpan's the stronger version, right? I think that might be where you have problems. Because then it's like, it's kind of like this tier, right? Where Conduit is actually harder to pull off in the raid. It's more difficult of the two. But it isn't as good. And that feels bad, right? Because it's like, you feel like you're having to do a lot more thinking, a lot more like playing around abilities and stuff, for less damage. So, I'm a fan of them making them different difficulties, but I think the harder difficulty one should have the better payoff if you do it, if you play it better, if that makes sense. Whereas right now, Shadowpan, it's got the Storm, Earth, and Fire windows, which I suppose is a little bit difficult to work around and get used to. But outside of that, it's very standard, like very basic rotation and stuff. And it's just better at the moment. So then you get the situation where you might as well just play the easier to play hero talent for higher damage. Why spend the time suffering learning Conduit to get down every single heart of the Jade Serpent window and get the rotation perfect to then do less damage than you could do by just doing a basic rotation with some slight deviations every 1 minute 30, right? So I think that's okay, but it depends how they balance it. Hello, did you overcome your illness for good? Yeah, I'm good now. We good. What do you mean? You don't like spamming Tiger Palms for flurry strikes? No, I don't mind it. I think it's fine. I think it's degenerate, though. I think it doesn't make it. It like completely goes against the entire mantra of balancing resources, right? Like, you overcap chi constantly during Storm, Earth, and Fire, and like all you care about is energy, and that like completely defeats the point of having chi. Like, resources should be balanced, and you should be playing through them. Like, Conduit does it really well, where you're balancing energy and chi, and so does Shadowpan outside of the Storm, Earth, and Fire windows. But inside of them, it's just like a don't give a fuck about chi. I've got like all my heavy hitters up, but I can only press one in between each Tiger Palm. Otherwise, I'm losing damage because I'm not expending flurry strikes, and it's not a healthy play style. I mean, that's just my opinion. But I think by having flurry strikes expend every Fist of Fury, that then allows you to do a solid rotation, manage your resources, and still be like, you're expecting Fist of Fury to be your main ability, the one that does the most damage and you get the most. Well, now it feels good to do so because it's also proccing flurry strikes. So you're naturally trying to build up ways to get Fist of Fury out on cooldown. Whereas at the moment, I feel like during Storm, Earth, and Fire, shit, this thing might be up, but it makes no. But if my against all odds window is going to drop off, in a period of time that I'd cast this. I'm not sending this. I then delay my Fist of Fury to then get another Tiger Party, you know what I mean? It just feels weird. Am I playing any other classes this season? Yeah. I am playing Rogue and Druid. I finally succumbed to Druid. I like it. I think it's fun. I'm not a massive fan of Rogue. I like Assassination, but I'm not a fan of the other two. I'm really enjoying Feral. Guardian's just whatever. It's just a tank in it. And am I allowed to say that I'm enjoying Balanced Druid? I just feel like there's something missing from Balanced Druid. It feels like I have no buttons, but I think that's normal. I swear to God, I have like 4 buttons for Balanced Druid, and that's that's all you press. Whereas Feral feels like it's got a lot going on, which is cool. But I was like I was leveling up my Balanced Druid, and I was like, when am I going to start getting some more abilities? It's like, it just feels like you have nothing. Yeah, those are the ones I'm playing at the moment. Alright, I'm just gonna... I'll run more keys. I just need to go to the loo. I'll be like 2 secs. Yo. As much as I like Feral, I legit can't top the damage, like how I see logs of others right now. I think Feral's actually quite difficult. On single target, I actually think it's relatively easy. Like rotation-wise, it felt fine. But the moment you start adding more targets, it's like Rogue, where you have to start managing fucking dots. I don't mind it too much on like a few targets, but once you get into M+, I'm like, holy shit, I've got to micromanage like 1,000 dots. Help. Does this target have rake on it? My thought is, how are you going to be able to track stuff like that going into midnight? Because obviously they're removing... Are they adding in their own version of that? So I was under the impression they're stopping you from tracking buff... debuff... I guess they're debuffs or buffs on targets? Or maybe they're not. Maybe it's integrated into their nameplate. Like realistically, I'm sad that I'm gonna lose a lot of like my Luxthos and stuff like that. That sucks. But in terms of actual tracking, I think we're actually one of the best specs for losing a lot of this. Because realistically, on a target, how much do you actually track? What do you track on a target? Not much as a Windwalker, right? Like, maybe Acclamation? Realistically, probably not, though. Gale Force, I suppose, but that's kind of an internal cooldown that you can track yourself. There's nothing too crazy that you're actually tracking on targets. So I think we actually don't suffer too much from losing weak auras and add-ons in a weird way. And in terms of things that you actually track, you track Crackling Jade Lightning stacks. Well, that's gone now. That's gone. Spinning Crane Kick, I suppose Dance of the Chiji is something you track. So it's like one Chiji, I suppose. What else? I'm trying to think of what else I actually track. Blackout kick effects, free blackout kicks, I suppose you track as well. Basically, I actually don't think it's that bad. The only thing I don't hate, like, I don't care that they're removing combat stuff, right? Like, I couldn't care less that they're changing how raids and stuff is. What bothers me and annoys me is they're fucking with my UI. Like, I like my UI in a very specific way, right? Like, I'm very fond of my UI. And that's the thing that I care about the most. It's like, I'm being told, your UI, you're gonna have to change that, buddy. You're gonna have to change it and like it. Oh, that's gonna suck. UI is gonna be brutal, I feel, at midnight. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I care about. It's just, like, as players, I'm sure we're all very fond of our specific UI. And if someone gave you a brand new UI tomorrow, you'd be like, oh god, what do I do with this? Like, UIs are very personal to a player. Like, you know where things are in the UI and stuff like that. And it's basically just a massive overhaul. So that's the only downside, is like having to reset the UI and rechange all of that. I get very set in my ways. What's my thought on Mythic raiding in Midnight? Now that there's no weak cores, I guess we won't be seeing fights like Brood Twister where you have to kick rotation and assignments. I think that I'm under the impression it's going to get harder. Like I genuinely, it's a tough one because they're removing all the weak cores and stuff, which is fine, but that means they kind of have to like make the fights easier. And like, how are they going to get that right straight off the bat? Like, because fights are very intricate at the moment. I feel like they might miss it initially. And I feel like there's potential for like probably one of the hardest raiding tiers ever. Because I just don't know if they'll get it right first off. I could be wrong. But it's like trying to find that balance, because they don't want to make it too easy either, right? Like, I'm a fan of them removing weak cores and stuff if raid encounters and dungeons are easy, or not easy, are playable and learnable and achievable without them. But if it feels like I'm missing a super integral thing that I had from a weak core that they've still included in dungeons or raids, then it's like, well, you've made the game hard for the sake of just being harder. I mostly care about my UI, to be honest. They should just leave the UI weak core and remove dungeon and raid weak cores. I agree with that. But it's got to do with like combat things. So that's the issue, I think, is that like a lot of these like weak cores, they're completely shutting down, right? Or they're not doing anything because they just can't operate in with the current state of how their code would read the actual. Like, it'd just be too much work essentially for no payoff. Either way, it's going to completely change the game. If that's a good thing, I don't know. Like, no more... Okay, don't get me wrong. No more timeline reminders. To be fair, this is a little bit, you know, this is probably over the top, right? The fact that you can absolutely just completely timeline your entire fight and have a AI voice tell you when to pop cooldowns. Sure, okay, that... okay, that is a little bit much. But... Are they going to remove the note function and stuff like that? Like, are you going to be able to have written notes and stuff? I don't know.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Because at first, I was under the impression weak cores would be fine. Like, certain weak cores would be fine. But now, it's obviously... Well, weak cores aren't even fine. So it's like, what actually classifies as fine? I fucking love this first pull. Oh! Oh, Jesus Christ! I mean, I actually did damage this pull, so that's good. I positioned a lot better, basically, than I did on the last. Ow. Oh, please, no Murloc, please. Bad Murloc. I mean, that was a horrible pull, but we survived it. Oh, I love Crackling Jade Lightning. I am going to be sad Crackling Jade Lightning's gone. Well, you know what I mean. Crackling Jade Lightning is technically not gone, but I think in M plus it's fine. It's just raid. It's just raid, man. That's the issue. Like in M plus, it's actually a balanced ability. Like it does good damage when you need it to, but it doesn't carry your dungeon or anything. But in raid, it is absurdly broken. It can take a spec that does like 13th highest boss damage on a pull to the top damage just because of the ads. And the thing is, you don't even have to build AoE. Like, you don't even really have to build AoE to play it. You just take 2 talent nodes. We are not going to hold here. Why are those shore runners orange? Oh, that's a lot of fish sticks. Oh! Why do my flurry strikes not proc there? Jesus Christ, man. Someone put this Goliath down. It's doing nasty business. Oh, please don't crush again. Put him down. Oh, I have no coolies for this. We're just gonna have to wait. Alright, that wasn't too bad. So we got coolies like midway through, so I didn't like waste anything. I wonder how they're gonna do the Guardians. I'm not following that Murloc. He's running me straight into the Guardians. hopefully we do what it did last time. But I don't think we will. I think this guy's probably going to run him into the boss. I mean, we ran him into the boss last time. It's just at what health they got run into the boss. We have a mage. I guess the mage can at least hit them. What the fuck is this? I hate them. I hate them so much. Like, huh? like, what am I meant to do here? And then good luck. Yeah, we're pulling them up full health as well. Like, okay. Oh, I'm just gonna hit the boss and pray. Okay. I mean, I think we're winning. Hard to tell. Yeah, I think we're fine. Thank God for mages, dude. If we didn't have a mage there, that would have been so much worse. We got a lot of ads up, though. Why is this guy called Hillbrad? What's his actual name? Oh, Hillbrande. Hillbrand? That hurt. And now once this Guardian dies, the fight just becomes super trivial. He cycles again in 30. I get cooldowns again in 10, which means I'll send cooldowns out on cooldown. Then they'll basically they'll finish by the time he transitions. I'll hold the lightning here though for the ads. Just to get the added value. Yeah, we're fine. Where do I put this? And then we'll send no cooldowns out until we get to the next set. So, I mean, we should kill this boss. He's at 35, but it should be fine. Do I think Windwalker should have got a buff in the last tuning pass? Ooh, that's an interesting question. No. But that doesn't mean I don't think we shouldn't get a buff at some point. If that kind of makes sense. I think, like, this tuning pass is a weird one. Because it comes at a time just before everyone's about to get stronger anyway. So what they did mostly is they nerfed a lot of the top specs. Which I think is fine. I think that's good. They basically, instead of bringing specs up, they've brought specs down. Which I think is fine. But I think once we eventually get into the, like, everybody, like, fully gears out, everybody, like, you're on the Dinar's tracks and all that jazz, then I think they should look at actual tuning. And I think we'll probably fall behind at that point. So we tend to fall behind. That's awful. 1.5%, 4%. But once again, like, it comes, like, this is the issue, right? If you look on paper, we're really good in the raid. And technically we are. We have a lot of good fights, but they're all Crackly Jade Lightning fights. So, they're fights where you get lots of ads, and you're able to clear them all down, because our damage profile suits that. But then you get some of the bosses like Nexus King and Dementius, and actually we're not as strong as, like, other specs. Please don't die, tank.
Apologies, Captain. Please direct your grievances towards my associate.
Title first. You lot meddle with the wrong buccaneer.
Do I use my trinket every 3 minutes? Exactly. Because I'm playing 2 active trinkets, I basically cycle them off of each other. So I use one for each Zuin. So it makes my burst windows stronger and as powerful as they can be with any like trinket combination. But the downside is that I lose that passive buff. Like the biggest benefit is the fact that you can send out 18 stacker nether prisms pretty much essentially all the time. As long as I don't die before I get to send it out, that would suck. Oh boy. Guys, we need some more people on these these tide sages. Oh lord. If anyone's hitting a deckhand right now, I got questions. So I'd say this trinket combination is really strong, but it depends on the key, right? Like if like, because there's a lot of like trash, like biggest trash packs every so often in this key. Like a great example where I think this probably isn't great would be like streets or something. Like until it's still good, and I think it's probably better to just have one passive trinket. But if you're not like dying all the time and you're able to stack this like nether prism to 18, like every time you nether prism burst it, it's just beyond busted. Like you are getting, I don't even know, it's almost like 60,000 agility during your burst windows extra. Oh, I got defense of that. So this is where we wiped last time. I am going in with full cooldown, so that's good.
A chest of gold to whoever brings me their time.
Let's just hope we do this boss better than we did last time. That was a pretty terrifying fire position. That was actually not fun at all. Because it could have spawned on the right of us, it spawned on the left where everyone was moving. That was horrible. Like that is also horrible. Just keep moving. No brakes on this train. Try to get back into this corner. I mean, we have all this room to play with. We probably should have moved back all the way into the corner. But actually, it's a bit dodgy. Oh, lordy. Probably helps if I turn my camera angle so I can actually see what's going on. There's a big dragon in my way. So we'll get to Nether Prism the next set. Ideal not to die now. Yeah, 18 stacker. We need to be careful here with positioning. I don't know why that player was over on that side. Oh, fuck that. That brute is smashing my friend's head in, but I'm gonna say that he's fine. Getting her a piece in there. Good ring of peace. And we're just kind of in the middle of the room now, which isn't great. But I think we kill... Oh, Jesus Christ. Aim directly at my face. I mean, where are we moving, boys? To the back? Probably not a bad shout. Pop a defensive here because I'm just not feeling safe. We should be fine, actually, here. Yeah, we're good. I mean, not clean in the slightest. Insanely messy hooktail fight. Oh, lordy. It's not over. I'm just going to stand in this corner here. Alright, I mean, it was super messy, but no one died. The only bit that worried me was when, because the guys obviously get baited towards your position, and because someone was over on this side trying to knock them in, like they got baited. Hey, you like my ring of peace? Hog? That's a big ring of peace. Alright, gotta be careful here I don't get aggro. Alright. I think that was worth it. I sent out a Crackling Jade Lightning extremely early. It was on 15 stacks, which is fine to send out a Crackling Jade Lightning on 15 stacks during a Storm Earth and Fire if your Storm Earth and Fire is about to drop off. But because the Pulsar was up, it made sense to nuke it down. And like Crackling Jade Lightning absolutely obliterates that thing. So I sent it out early to guarantee I'd nuke down the Pulsar, even though Storm Earth and Fire was still running. There is method to the madness. Well, I'm going to send out an 18 here, just to get it down, because it does ungodly damage. So now it's at 11, which isn't great. Oh, I'm out of CC now. So I'm relying on everybody else to save us through this. Shit, I'm out of CC, but I got coolies. That's kind of like CC, right? If it dies fast enough, you're basically CCing. Don't need CC if everything's dead. That makes sense. I'll just send out the lightning now. Alright, well that's the hard pack done, because that was the doubler. This is pretty chill. Which means we're going to wipe to it. Whenever I say something's pretty chill, you know that that's just bad juju. Oh my god, the mage almost got all one shot. I have no defenses for the Pulsar, which is kind of awkward. Leg sweep here. The lightning's not big enough to really justify sending it. So we'll do another Pulsar, and then I'll send it on that one. Yeah, we'll send it on this one. Oh, I had to cancel it midway through because it aimed on me. You bitch. So I have coolies, and I probably I'm not gonna send here. I'm just gonna send on the boss. It means I'm going to overcap my Nether Prism, but it's worthwhile. I think there's no point sending on this pack. It's almost dead. I'd rather have the damage for the boss to get through it faster. Send out one more lightning. Like I wouldn't normally send out lightnings on such low amounts, but with all the targets about to die and the pulsar there, I think it's worth it. leg sweep at 1 second so that they don't dash instantly. See, it's trackers like that I am going to miss. Like, just being able to know when they're going to dash and stuff, like, visually easily on my screen. I'm going to get shown up to be a bad player when all of these weak cores are gone, I swear to God. Assassin's in 8 seconds, so we're actually going to save the Crackling Jade Lightning here. And we are going to send out another Storm Earth and Fire, just to nuke him, essentially. Oh my god, triple spinning crane kick prop. We like that. That was kind of crazy. And then this is what I mean, we're going to overcap on Nether Prism, but is life. I guess the real question is, can I send it out before it phases, or am I going to eat into the phase? And I feel like I am, so I'm going to have to delay even further. It feels bad, but this is the cost I pay for running double active. This is an awkward overlap. I changed my mind. It's summoning the assassins, right? No! Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm so stupid. I thought it was summoning the assassin. Like, I was looking at my timers, and it said summon assassin in 0 seconds. So I thought to myself, right, it's summoning the assassins. I have to pop now to kill the assassins during this phase. So what do? I pop my cooldowns with my big Nether Prism. And what does it not do? It doesn't summon the assassins. Ah, that's annoying. I should have waited till they actually spawned. Basically, that entire that entire 18 stacker that I've been saving up for ages, absolutely pointless. Got no value from it. Oh, that's so stupid. I should have waited. I was just worried because the last thing you really want is for the overlap. Any sort of overlap. You don't want the soak overlap going into the intermission, and you don't want the assassin overlap because obviously you got to get into position. And if you have assassins jumping around, people aren't in position. So I thought to myself, nuke him. Just get him down. Get him gone. Can't really get them gone if they don't spawn. I mean, I guess already gone. I'll go to the corner one over here. I want a defense for this because this hurts. Oh, we missed one. I didn't. Oh. Okay. I'll take the L. Oh, what am I taking damage to? I'll take the L there. Deserve. I think I might have had Fort Brew. I think I just noticed it too late. We will get one more phase and one more intermission for sure. I'll have no defenses for it, so let's hope Soothing Mists carries me through this one, I suppose. Just about. Am I gonna get coolies off here? Why do I feel like I'm not? I mean, I kind of got coolies off. Good dungeon. I played this last boss bad. Everything else I think I did fine, but that last boss I played pretty badly. Fucking up that. Oh, messing up the assassin cooldowns and then cocking up the survival on the ability with the stars.
I am grateful our paths
But still timed it. Good dungeon.
These troublesome
Cancelling fists for a kick.
will
Ugh.
reside
Yeah, I
within
know, right?
no more harm.
Trust me. Trust me, if I didn't think the kicks would kill people, I wouldn't.
Till our footsteps meet again.
Yeah, like if it was a key where I know people will survive the hit, I won't, but so many times, like that's the one downside I think. I would like it if you could kick during Fist of Fury. I don't think it's like it's never usually the like it's not all the time obviously that you have to kick during it, but if you have to kick, you have to kick, right? Like and then the downside is that the most damage from Fist comes at the end, right? So you're having to cancel it, and that does suck, but it's better than someone dying. Especially if it's targeting me. If it's targeting me, that interrupt goes out straight away. It's the that interrupt is instantly out. I ain't dying to that. Yeah, that is the one downside to Fist, is that it cancels from interrupts, right? Do I think Blizzard's simplifying the game so it can go to console? I've seen that a lot. I could see it definitely going to console. I don't know. I don't know if that's why they're simplifying it. Like, let's just say that there's a % chance that is probably what's happening. But maybe, like, one thing doesn't equal the other, if that makes sense. So maybe, like, they are simplifying the game because they want it to be... but then they're removing weak horrors and all that jazz to an extent, right? So that everything's through the game, which would mean that it's usable on the console. If it's all integrated through the Blizzard system, then you can use it. Oh, because you can't get weak horrors on my Xbox. Oh. I'm going to do an 18 with this group. They just need 5 minutes, so we'll do the Arakara. Let me quickly just switch into detox, because it's the one thing I will forget to do. And having an extra detox, like having a way to remove poisons, is so valuable in this dungeon. This healer will love me if I remember to press it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if one thing equals the other. The game's definitely getting more simplified. I don't know. They're pruning a lot, right? Like a lot of classes have lost offensives. Healing, they've said like I haven't read too much into the healing, but I know they want it to be more flat and less reliant on cooldowns, which sounds so weird to me. Because like cooldowns feel significant to healers, right? Like, you know, big damage is coming in, so that's when you need your big coolies and you play around. I don't know. I feel like WoW's always been a game you play around cooldowns. So it just feels weird to lose cooldowns as healers. Console's been the tinfoil forever. I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I'll see it when I'll believe it when I see it. But I can see why it's an argument at the moment, or a thought why they're changing all this stuff. I mean, you can get it's connected to Game Pass now, innit? That's I don't know what that means. I don't have one on Game Pass. I still think the game would be the thing is, I still think the game would be extremely hard to play on console. Like, even in the simplistic form, how are you healing a raid group on a console? I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying you could do it with a controller, probably. I'm saying it's that sounds insanely difficult, right? Like, that sounds like next level difficult. Like, you're trying to... A 20-man raid group, you're playing a healer. Somehow the console would have to, like... You know what I mean? Like, targeting over unit frames and stuff, whilst... that just sounds insane. Like, DPS, I think, yeah, you probably play with a controller. You'd probably play most DPS specs on a controller fine. Healing, oh my god, how would you do it? That sounds like something I'd never even want to try. or try it just to see how hard that is. I think if you can heal on a controller, you're probably the best player in this game. That's crazy. What do I take instead of Touch of the Tiger? Yeah, mostly Brawler's Intensity. I don't take Ordered Elements on Shadowpan. For the sole reason of essentially you don't need it in M+, because you're always Tiger Palming during Storm, Earth, and Fire, right? So most of the time you're always overcapped on Chi anyway. So, like, the situation never really arises where you're like, damn, I wish my Fist of Fury cost 1 less during my Storm, Earth, and Fire so I could have cast it, because you're pretty much always Chi capped during Storm, Earth, and Fire because of all the Tiger Palms that you're sending out. So, yeah, usually Brawler's Intensity is generally what I run. Like, it's like there's no need to take Energy Burst either because you don't need the Chi generation. So I just increase the damage of Blackout Kick and reduce Rising Sun Kick. Like, Touch of the Tiger is probably still good for the bosses and stuff. But I value Blackout Kick a bit more. I've seen people prefer to take Zuin's Battle Gear for M+. I believe you. There's the cool thing at the moment is, like, if you look at any of the top Windwalkers in M+, they're all slightly running different variations of different builds for different keys, and that's kind of cool. I'm always like a fan of massive like build diversity, where you get to try out different things in different keys. Some things are better than others. Like sometimes you run double active, sometimes you'll play 2-minute Shadowpan, take Zuin's Battle Gear. As you said, sometimes, you know, you might even take both. Sometimes you you drop certain talents for others. Sometimes you run Conduit in that dungeon, sometimes you play Conduit, like, you know what I mean? And that's cool. That's what I loved about Season 2. So I think M+ at the moment for Windwalker is almost like, it's really hard to say this is your defined build. Like, there is technically like a build that's like fine to play like for every dungeon. Like sometimes Drinking Horn cover, sometimes Spiritual Focus, but you can make slight tweaks here and there and they play better. I can completely get why they play Zuin's Battle Gear, because you Rising Sun Kick quite a lot, and also you get a lot more value with it on bosses, because you're not spinning Crane Kicking, right, and the higher keystone you go, the longer you're on boss fights, and if that boss fight is single target, you're Rising Sun Kicking a lot more of the time as well, so you're actually getting more Fist of Fury out on that boss. So I could see that being probably a big reason why they run it, but it's also good in AoE. There's a Russian streamer that's top DPS passes and keys and always uses Slicing Wind Shadowpan build. Why isn't everyone using that build? I actually think that build's hard to pull off. It's surprisingly a lot to micromanage. I think surprisingly a lot of Windwalker players actually play that, like just casual Windwalkers or people pushing like mid-range keys and stuff. A lot of players like that build. It's actually a pretty popular build, but at the top ranks, I think it's quite hard to pull off. Like, I'm not saying the players aren't capable of doing it. 100% they could pull it off, but it relies, like, it's almost like roughly the same results. You could play the more simpler build and actually focus more on what's going on in the key. Like, you've got to track, like, there's this, you've got Slicing Winds micromanagement, Strike the Windlord micromanagement, Gale Force. It kind of changes a bit how you use Crackling Jade Lightning. There's a far more to actually think about and play around. And it doesn't always work out for every dungeon as well. I think it's stronger probably for higher trash pack dungeons. It's similar to how like Conduit plays around Gale Force windows, right? Or like that's why you always strike into a Slicing Winds, followed by your major cooldowns when you play Conduit. It's basically doing that, but making it Shadowpan's version, where you basically are playing around this window, and making sure that you get it off at the correct moments. Is on Conduit, it's not as important to get it off at the correct moments because you're basically popping it on cooldown, but it's quite a bit more important to get it off with the Shadowpan version, to line it up nicely with Crackling Jade Lightnings and Storm, Earth, and Fires. Essentially, I think it's hard to play. Like, it's fun to play, but I think it's actually a harder version of Shadowpan. 18 Arakara. I've done this on a 16? So this should be fine. I hate this dungeon. No, that's not true. I like this dungeon. I hate this first pull. I don't feel like I do anything here. It's the one downside. I feel like this is like I always suck on this first pull. But outside of that, I think strong. Double check I have detox. It's the only thing that will save our healer. Save his mind. Save his mental. Oh, double active here. Maybe. Maybe not. I think I'm likely to die. So I'm not going to try stack Nether Prism to 18. I think there's a lot of things I could die to in this dungeon randomly, which would make my 18 stack Nether Prism drop to 0 stacks. If that makes sense. Because usually when you just run Nether Prism, you're popping at about like 10-ish stacks, so it's not as punishing. It still sucks to die, obviously. But when you're trying to stack it to 18, otherwise you do no damage, and I get killed by an AoE effect. I think the damage in this dungeon's higher. There's a lot of casters. Yeah, I think it's safer this way. If I don't die, then I played myself, but I think this is just more consistent. Let's start with 10 Crackling Jade Lightning stacks. Oh man, that'd be so that'd be so good. It'd be busted though. You wouldn't even be able to send them straight away. Like you'd just rip the amount of Windwalkers, like including myself, I'd just instantly just rip aggro. I'd be like, I wouldn't be able to contain myself. 20 stacker? Send that shit out insta. Yeah, it's a shame that you can't pre-stack it, but I understand why. It would just be really strong. It'd be a really stupidly strong opener. Like, you go into an opener of a dungeon with a Raz, 20 stacks, Zuin, Storm Earth and Fire. You just enter the dungeon, do 40 million on pull. If you're worried about Nether Prism, wouldn't it be better to play Ritual Forge? I'd be forced to play 2 minutes then. And I don't want to play 2 minutes for this dungeon. It's not that I don't think 2 minutes are good. It's just that I haven't really run it in this dungeon. So I'm not familiar with when I actually get my cooldowns, if that makes sense.
The void beckons us onward. Embrace
5,
it.
4,
Leave
3.
yourself.
Yeah. I play 1 minute 30s in dungeons. I think I rarely ever play 2 minutes in dungeons.
See you again,
Orb.
Grandmaster.
Oh, fucking great. Orb spawned up there. Nice.
Good luck, Grandmaster.
Ow. I don't want to pop these eggies. Why do I fucking hear like 1,000 sounds telling me that I'm targeted? I hear bong, bong, bong. I'm like, okay, I'm fucking dead then.
Orb. Orb.
Resonant Forage. I must get closer. Horrifying Shrill. Resonant Forage. Red Spray.
Oh my god. Oh, why isn't this pack ending?
On.
Please.
On.
Ah, it's just up for too long, I think.
Resonant barrage.
I can't even touch anything. God. It's because the eggs got broken at the back. If you can avoid breaking the eggs at the back, you're okay. Oh, I thought more people died. I thought 2 people or 3 people had died. It was just the one.
On.
Oh, that's fine then. Yeah, I couldn't save the DK's life. Oh, that's a terrifying pull though. I love it when my cape procs on an interrupt and then pulls all aggro. Fucking who designed this shit? Yes, we'll have the cape interrupt when he presses Ring of Peace. It's genius. That's why he can't use his CC to CC. Like, huh? Who the fuck designed this shit? More importantly, why didn't they fix it? Like, you can't do Ring of Peace skips anymore, because you have the odd chance of just proccing with your cloak. That's annoying. Can't do paralysis skips either, because it also has the chance of just proccing your cloak. It is a little bit silly. Oh, God. We don't have enough detoxes in the world. Look at me. I am the healer now.
On.
Every time I prop detox, 2 more fucking poisons appear.
On.
Where one head gets cut off, 2 more grow. What is this shit? This feels kind of slow. That kind of makes sense.
On.
I feel like this might be a tight dungeon on time. Oh, we didn't pull into the mini boss. Oh, we're doing it now. I have coolies. At least that.
On.
Oh, an orb. So we'll save leg sweep here for them. Oh God. Ring a piece him. Fuck him. Fall off the map. Didn't quite work how I wanted it to. You can actually ring a piece them off of the map. Yeah, see, that one's falling through the floor. So if you get a really good ring a piece, you can actually ring a piece these crawlers off of the map. It didn't quite work how I wanted it to there. I think you have to let them land first and then knock them off. And they have to be right near the edge. Alternatively, you can just place a ring of peace under yourself so they don't hit you. I mean, that's probably smarter. But, I mean, shit, isn't it funny just to knock things off the edge of the map? Do you even think that was possible?
On.
We have cooldowns for every single pull. That's kind of nice. It's kind of like that. Go on, cast it. There we go.
On. Poisonous cloud. I'm out of range.
Oh lordy.
On. On.
We'll send lightning out here. I was debating not sending it out so I can get a 20 stacker on the first ad set, but I think I'll build up enough stacks to make it worthwhile. As long as I get to about like 10-ish, it's worth. Yeah, we're about 10-ish. Yeah, it was fine to send out the Crackling Jar. This mini boss is taking way longer.
On. On.
Oh, please die, Asic. 8 minutes for the first boss. I have no idea if that's good or not. Sounds a little bit tight. We got some flyers.
On.
Oh my god, he just jumped on top of them. Oh, shit! That's not meant to happen. Holy shit!
On.
Was I stood under the boss there? I thought I was in a fine position. I thought I was just south of the boss. I thought my position was okay. I don't know who was stood. Obviously, it jumped on all four because one was too close to it. Maybe me? I thought I was okay though. Ah, it was a nice attempt. It's my first attempt at 18. I didn't die.
Good to see you.
That's already a win in my book. 13 million Windwalker DPS? Flip that. Ship that. I don't know why I was running out. You can't. I don't know where I was running to. Best rotational tip, struggling to beat the one button rotation. Yeah, I think what Jafka said is a good one. It's just always never pressing the same button in a row. A good rule of thumb for learning initially is to like, basically you'd never want to really be at 120 energy. So it's trying to use Tiger Palm efficiently to allow yourself to always be gaining energy. So like weaving Tiger Palms in between abilities is pretty useful. Like not all the time. Sometimes you do want to like Rising Sun Kick followed up by a Fist of Fury. But if you're sat at like 120 energy for too long, you've essentially like just wasted resources, right? Because that's how you get chi. So it's trying to Tiger Palm more actively. And then not overcapping chi as well is a big one as well. Well, I say that with a caveat of it's a little bit different during Storm, Earth, and Fire. But general gameplay is you kind of don't want to cap chi and you don't want to cap energy. You want both resources to essentially be constantly rolling. I definitely recommend Shadow Palm as your like learning one, initial one to get into it. So I think the rotation's a bit friendlier. During Storm, Earth, and Fire, I think that the biggest mistake people make is not Tiger Palming enough. Especially with the new 4 set and stuff, with how it works and getting Flurry Strikes out. So I think the biggest difference initially with like damage and increasing your damage comes from actually Tiger Palming more during Storm, Earth, and Fire. Not enough that you're breaking mastery, but essentially the rule of thumb is when you're in Storm, Earth, and Fire, you pretty much want to Tiger Palm every other ability whenever possible. Because your damage comes from the Flurry Strikes being sent out every 120 energy you expend, and to do this you have to press Tiger Palm, right? So even like little things, by let's say you're in Storm, Earth, and Fire window, you press Tiger Palm, you press Rising Sun Kick, then you press Fist of Fury, then you press Tiger Palm. You've you've essentially stolen a Tiger Palm from your window, because the Fist of Fury's duration, right, and the fact that you want to keep sending out, it would have been better to go Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick, Tiger Palm, Fist of Fury. Because as well as I'm trying to make this tip simple because it's just simple tips, right? I don't want to get into AOO and all of that, but it's essentially it's just trying to weave Tiger Palm in between every ability. Another big one is always making sure that you send Zuin out with Storm, Earth, and Fire. Never send a Zuin out on its own. It's just not very strong. Think of Zuin as a damage amplifier, right? And Storm, Earth, and Fire is your damage window, if that makes sense. So Storm, Earth, and Fire is always worthwhile to send out with Zuin. You can send out Storm, Earth, and Fire without Zuin, but don't send out Zuin without Storm, Earth, and Fire. And when it comes to trinkets, always send your trinket out with Zuin, because you'll be sending it out with Storm, Earth, and Fire. So, because Zuin essentially just replicates 8% of the damage that you deal during its duration. Like, it will do that damage bonus. So you want it to amplify your big damage window, which is Storm, Earth, and Fire. Try not to overcap spinning crane kicks. If you're spinning crane kicks glowing, which means you have a stacker down to the Chi-Ji, you can let it stack 2 times. You don't have to feel pressured to send it out on the initial one. You can let it stack to 2. However, once it is at 2, you want to send it out pretty quickly because you don't want to overstack it. Yeah, I think those are some decent tips. When you say Ring of Peace pull stuff with Cloak, I believe that's Nether Prism instead. You might be right on that one. You might be right. In fact, you probably are right. Cursed Nether Prism. Although I did proc the cape with an interrupt there, but it might have been that I also did at the same time as the interrupt. Either way, they're both annoying. Either way, they're both annoying. So there were quite a few like skips you could do last season. I don't think there's too many that we had. There's actually not that many skips this season. Thinking about it, like there's a few skips, but like if you think back to last season, how many skips you did throughout a dungeon? Think about like Motherlode Mine, for instance. Like there were like at least 6 or 7 skips that you could do in that dungeon. This rotation doesn't feel too egregious for actually skipping and stuff. It feels healthier. Like skipping was so degenerate. So stupid. There are still some, but most of these dungeons are pretty linear, right? Or it's not a skip. You can choose to do a pack without having to skip and avoid another pack. You can just pull that pack because it's not in its way or something like that. Can I see your current stat breakdown? Yeah, sure. Let me take off my pot and stuff so you can see the actual raw numbers. Because the flask can sometimes be a bit... It can, like, make the stats not... You know what I mean, it can fuck up the stats. It'll make it look like I have more crit than I do or something. I mean, I just follow the Sims when it comes to stats, right? I pair different combinations and try to find the things. I don't think to myself I need this certain amount of mastery. Like, one week can be different to another. I don't think to myself, well, this week I have 83% mastery, so I need this next week. It's literally, like, that's what simulations are for, right? They run so many iterations. There's nothing that I could do that the computer can't do, right? But predominantly at the moment, my 2 main secondary stats are haste and mastery, 19, 16,000, with versatility set at 13,000, which is relatively close, right? Like, these 3 are pretty high up, and then crits at 5,000. The reason crit's so low, though, is because a lot of my crit comes from Astral Antenna, which I play in most content, unless I'm running double active. But a lot of my crit comes from this in just general gameplay. And as well as that, crit and versatility are roughly valued the same-ish when it comes to, like, secondaries. I personally just prefer versatility as well. Because whilst versatility and crit will both give you, like, decent damage, crit doesn't give you the increased or decreased damage taken, basically. It helps your survivability. I suppose you can crit more with Vivify, but I'd rather not have to press that Vivify in the first place, if that makes sense. My bad, didn't mean to make you take your buffs off. I don't mind. Oh no, I don't care. Still working on bringing my verse up. Yeah, I think mostly what you'll aim for initially, or most Windwalkers should probably aim for initially, is going for... Why is my Zoon glowing so hard right now? I noticed this earlier. What the fuck is wrong with him? Why is his eyes doing this? And why... I did notice this earlier. Though, is this like some Legion remix thing? And now my Zoon, my Banlu, is just... It kind of looks cool. The eyes kind of look cool, but this makes no sense. Why have I got a glowing pouch? I don't know. It's probably something to do with Legion remix. They cooked my mount. As long as he still talks to me, that's all I care about. Yeah, as I was saying, in general, most Windwalkers will aim for Haste Mastery initially, because they're just the two best secondary stats to get the most of. And then you start funneling a bit more into Verse, into Crit. Probably one of the easiest ways to get into versatility is through crafting, right? Because you want to go double Dust Thread. Double Dust Thread's a good way to get just a easy 1400 versatility. And then, like, predominantly a lot of my versatility comes from my crafted gear, right? I've got Verse on my wrists, I've got Verse on my legs, Verse on my ring. The only thing I don't have Verse on that's crafted is my neck, and that's just I've just pumped that with Haste Mastery. So I think, like, crafting is a really good way to help balance your stats out. Because gear drops are just gear drops, right? But if you can then use crafting to then help balance those around, I think that's always a good way of looking at crafting and trying to help get stats you want the most of. So if you want, like, if you have a bunch of haste and mastery right now, but your verse is lacking a bit, crafting is always like probably the quickest and easiest way to try and give yourself a bit more verse and drop some of those other stats. Double Dust Thread with verse? Yeah. So Dust Thread is the one that gives you verse. I think Dawn Thread's the one that gives you crit, but Dust Thread is just better for the sole reason that verse gives you more survivability, right? On paper, I think they're pretty much identical in value, more or less. Like, we're talking super minimal values. But I'd always rate more survivability, right? Can't do damage when you're dead. Unless you're playing a bleed class, but we... Oh shit, what happened? Oh no. Oh. Okay. What about my cloak? That's a good question. I've run pure mastery on this thing. And it's mostly... Well, it'll be because originally I did a sim. I would have done some sort of sim that compared haste and mastery. And mastery would have come out better, and then I started building around that. Because if I take off my cloak, my mastery actually drops significantly. So generally speaking, a lot of my gear doesn't have a huge amount of mastery on it. I get like 10% of my mastery from my cloak alone. But haste and mastery on the cloak are both good. Yeah. I think that'll be it from me today. Yes. We did alright. We did some M+. We didn't deplete some keys, so maybe the motivation's back there to keep pushing. Yeah, we did alright. We have the, I mean, there's a bunch to look forward to. I don't know if... I was considering playing Legion Remix as well, but the downside to Legion Remix is it's the same talent builds and stuff from retail, right? So I basically just playing retail monk, and that's like I didn't realize it was going to be like that. I thought it was going to be like Legion's version of Windwalker, which I thought was going to be cool. So if I played a Legion Remix, I'd probably play another spec. I don't know what I'd do. Maybe like a mage. Holy shit, mage POV. Yeah, I didn't realize that they use the same talents and stuff. So I think that was the exciting part, that you basically play back in Legion. But I guess that's what the classics are for, right? Like Mock Classic and stuff. I think the remixes are just meant to be a fun event. A fun event where you just get OP and beat shit up. I don't really play the Mock version. I might give this one a go. But I don't think I'd play a monk in it. That doesn't make sense. Because you also use it to level up characters, right? Yeah. Might be about tomorrow. Might not. Who knows? Keep you guessing. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subs, chatting, follows, chilling, hanging. And have a good afternoon, my dudes. I will catch you later. Sim my cloak gem? Yeah, sim your cloak gem. Definitely sim your cloak gem. You can... Actually, before I go, I'll show you how you do that. If you go to, like, top gear, you can sim a lot of stuff, but it's in a strange place. I was going to show you how to do the delve belt as well, but the delve belt's a little bit irrelevant now. But with the delve belt, you used to be able to basically just change its change the buff it gave you, so you could change it to static spark burst or to electric current or whatever. But usually when it comes to just simming the cloak, all you really have to do is press these pure chromatic fiber and pure energizing fiber. You can do crit and verse, but generally speaking, I think cloak's just standardly better off as these two, and then you get your verse and crit from other sources. But the important thing you have to do is you have to turn on the replace existing gems and enchants. If you try to run your sims without this toggled on, it just won't even take these into account unless you have nothing in that slot. So if I like ran this sim right now with all of these buffs or like these gems, my sim won't change at all. You have to toggle the replace existing gems. Okay, I go now. Been using this on my cloak. It sims a lot. I keep saying I'm going to go and I get distracted. It sims a lot, I think, because I have too low on my gear. It's probably a good reason as well, right? I think the cloak, the delve belt as well, to a degree, was a really good way of balancing stats. They killed the delve belt. Unless you have to wear it, don't wear it. They nerfed every single like thing by like tons. I'm sure compared to some belts, it'll still be better, but on the general scheme of things, the delve belt sucks now. The positive of the delve belt and the cape to an extent is, like, as you say, it was really good at balancing a certain stat that you needed of something else. I love doing this with the delve belt. I would always balance my crit or my haste or my mastery with my belt. So now the only way I have to do that is my cape. The benefit to me, though, is that my gear changes so minimalistically now, is that I can just use crafted gear to change things like that, because I've got 4 pieces. So it really depends what stage your character's at, right? But like initially, if you're still like gearing, trying to get eye level and stuff, and some of your stats are quite low, like your verse is really low, or your mastery is really low, it's always a good thing to try use things like the cape, where you can literally quickly and easily switch secondaries to change that. Okay, I go for real now. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and hopefully catch you next time. Have a great evening, my dudes. Bye-bye.